Why does grief feel endless, like a wave that keeps rising even after the storm should have passed? You've tried to move on, haven't you? You've told yourself to be strong, to let time do its quiet work. But still, in the quiet hours, in the hush before sleep, the ache returns. Like a whisper, it finds its way back in. It's not that you want to suffer. No. You want peace. You want to remember them without breaking. You want to love them without the weight crushing your chest. And yet every breath you take still carries their absence. It's as if your heart became a room they once lived in, and now it echoes with silence. In Buddhist understanding, grief is not a problem to fix, but a movement of the mind and body that arises from attachment, love memory, and identity. It is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that something mattered deeply. In this moment, I invite you not to push away the pain, not to rush yourself through it. Instead, breathe slowly, gently. Let your breath be like wind through a bamboo forest, soft, persistent, returning. As you listen, you are not asked to analyze anything, not to relive it, not to solve it, just to be here, just to notice what grief feels like, not in your story, but in your body. Feel your shoulders. Are they clenched? Your jaw. Let it drop. Your chest. Let it open. Can you feel that heaviness pressing inward? That is your grief. Yes, but it is also your caring, your remembering, your longing. It is the shape love takes when it has nowhere else to go. In the teachings of the Buddha, the mind clings. It clings to what feels good, what feels safe, what feels meaningful. It wraps itself around people, ideas, and memories like vines around a tree. But when the object of attachment is no longer there, when the body is gone, when the conversation ends, when the promise is broken, what remains is the clinging itself, still tight, still alive, but now holding nothing. That sensation of grasping what can no longer be held is the core of sorrow. And yet, you are not wrong to feel this way. You are not failing. Grief, the Buddha said, is not to be escaped, but to be observed with kindness. In this moment, as you lie here in the softness of your bed, I ask you to do something small, but brave. I ask you to stop running. Not forever. Just for now. Stop trying to outrun what is already inside you. Breathe in and out. There is a gentle wind moving across the mind. It may carry memories, faces, sounds, words you said or didn't. Let them come. Don't chase them. Don't argue. Just let them drift like clouds across a wide sky. They are not who you are. They are not permanent. They are not dangerous. The storm feels like it will never end, but no storm has ever lasted forever. The same is true for grief. Its shape may change, its weight may shift, but its presence will soften, not through force, not through forgetting, but through seeing, through understanding, through patience. The more you resist it, the more it stays. The more you welcome it gently, the more it transforms. Buddhism does not ask you to forget. It asks you to see deeply, to see the true nature of life, that all things arise and pass including joy, including pain, including the people we love. In this seeing, a strange kind of peace begins to emerge, not because you are detached, but because you understand. You begin to trust the waves instead of fearing them. You begin to ride the rhythm of impermanence instead of drowning in it. And from this trust, something new is born, not forgetting, but freedom, not apathy, but stillness, not erasing their memory, but no longer being chained to it. And maybe for the first time, you can sleep, not to escape, but to rest. Not because you no longer feel, but because feeling no longer consumes you. Let your head sink into the pillow now. Feel the weight of your body. Let it be heavy. Heavy with truth. Heavy with tenderness. Let go of the story for now. Let go of needing to understand. You are here. You are breathing. You are enough. Rest. Let your grief be seen. Let your heart be heard. And let your breath, this gentle, sacred breath, carry you home. There is a moment, often unnoticed, when grief moves from being sharp to being quiet, when it stops shouting and begins whispering. You may not even realize it at first because you're still expecting the storm. You brace yourself each time you remember their voice, their smile, the way they used to look at you. You think it will break you again. But then something different happens. It hurts, yes, but more like a pulse, a soft echo. The pain has changed its shape. In Buddhism, we learn that everything that arises in the mind is conditioned by time, memory, karma, thought. No feeling lasts untouched. Even suffering is not static. Like rain that fades into mist, it begins to soften. And so do you. There is no failure in this softening. You are not betraying them by healing. You are not forgetting them because you smiled today. You are not less devoted just because you could finally sleep through the night. The mind may try to guilt you. It clings even to sorrow, mistaking it for loyalty. But you are allowed to breathe again. You are allowed to live again. To feel peace is not to be unfaithful. It is to honor life as it continues. Remember, impermanence is not the enemy. It is the rhythm of everything that is. The seasons change, and so do we. And yes, even the darkest winters make way for spring. This is the path the Buddha taught not to numb, not to escape, but to walk gently through the valley and keep walking. If you are in that valley, now know this: you do not walk alone. Others have been here. Others have sat where you sit, wept like you weep, and somehow kept breathing. And so do you. With each breath, something in you is choosing to stay, to remain, even in pain, even in exhaustion, even in longing. Each inhale is a promise I am here, and each exhale is a release I am letting go just a little. This is the rhythm of grief and healing. Breathing in, you remember. Breathing out, you allow. Let it happen. You don't need to force the process. You don't need to analyze every memory or measure your progress. Healing is not linear. It moves like water, like wind, like dreams. Some days you'll laugh. Others you'll cry for no reason. And all of it is part of the unfolding. Like a lotus blooming in the mud, you don't need to be clean to grow. You don't need to be whole to begin. Just be here. Let the sorrow be part of you, but not all of you. Let it share the space with hope, with silence, with rest. Sometimes the most sacred thing you can do is rest. Not sleep to escape, but sleep as a surrender. Sleep as trust. Sleep as returning to the arms of life. Grief exhausts the spirit. It carries weight in the bones in the back, in the neck. You may not notice how hard you've been holding yourself up until you finally let go. So, let go now. Let your back sink deeper into the mattress. Let your jaw unclench. Let your eyes soften even if they remain open. The body knows how to heal if you give it the permission. Your breath knows how to lead you home. The Buddha once said that life is like a bubble on water, brief, shining, fragile. To realize this is not to despair. It is to appreciate deeply. You don't have forever. None of us do. But you have this moment. You have this breath. And if you give yourself fully to it, that is enough. The person you lost, do you think they would want you to suffer endlessly? Or would they want you to rest now, to let go now, to smile again? You honor their memory, not just by grieving, but by loving again, living again, breathing fully again. This is not the end. This is the unfolding. You are still becoming. You are still here. Let each breath anchor you to now. Let your body know that it is safe. Let your heart know that it is seen. No need to rush toward peace. It will come when you stop chasing. So lie here, breathe gently. Let the earth hold you. Let your breath guide you like a lantern in the dark. Nothing else is needed right now. Just be. There's a kind of ache that doesn't scream. It simply lingers like fog on a quiet morning, refusing to lift. It follows you into each room, settles behind your eyes, and you carry it without knowing how heavy it has become. It's the ache of missing someone so deeply that your days feel thinner, like pages torn out of a book that can never be rewritten. And maybe you've tried to be strong, tried to distract yourself with work, with routine, with silence, but late at night, when all the noise fades and there's no one else around, the absence returns, not as a memory, but as a presence of what's no longer there. You may wonder why you still cry after all this time, why your heart still trembles when you hear their name. You may even judge yourself, thinking you should have healed by now. But in Buddhism, grief is not a problem to fix. It's a process to embrace. It is the natural unfolding of love after loss. It is the shadow cast by attachment, and it only hurts because you cared. That pain is not a flaw. It's a mirror of your compassion. So what do you do with it? How do you carry sorrow without letting it consume you? The answer, softly and patiently, is to befriend it. Don't resist the ache, observe it. Don't drown in memory, float beside it. Your grief is not the enemy. It's a river, and you are learning to swim in it. Some days, you'll be pulled under. Other days, you'll glide on the surface. Both are valid. Both are real. In Zen, the teaching is not to escape the suffering, but to become intimate with it, to know its taste, its temperature, its rhythm, without judgment. You sit with your grief the way you would sit with a child who's afraid. You don't yell at the child to be quiet. You don't ask why it hasn't grown up yet. You simply hold it, breathe with it, and whisper, "I'm still here." This is mindfulness, not the absence of pain, but the presence of compassion within pain. Each time you bring awareness to your sorrow, you change your relationship with it. You stop fighting it. You stop hiding from it. And slowly you begin to heal. Not because the grief disappears, but because it transforms. From sharpness to softness. From chaos to clarity. You begin to understand that nothing in this world was ever meant to stay. Not the people you love, not even the pain you carry. Everything flows, everything changes. The more you trust in this impermanence, the more you relax into it. That's what healing looks like, not forgetting but remembering with gentleness. Not erasing, but embracing with open hands. You are not broken because you mourn. You are human. You are tender. You are alive. And being alive means you'll feel the full spectrum of being, from joy to despair and everything in between. Let it move through you like weather across the sky. You are the sky. Grief is the cloud. It may cover your vision now, but it cannot erase your vastness. You are still whole, even with your heart cracked open. That crack is where the light enters. So as you lie here, breathing slowly, feeling the weight of your loss rise and fall with each inhale. Know this, you are healing, even if you don't feel it yet. Healing is not loud. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets or fireworks. It's quiet, like grass growing in the dark, like stars appearing one by one after a long storm. You don't need to see it for it to be happening. Just trust in your breath. Let it be your anchor. Let it remind you that this moment is safe, that this body is safe, that your grief is welcome here, not as a burden, but as a guest. You can cry if you need to. You can sigh. You can hold your chest and whisper the name of the one you lost. It's okay. There is space for all of it here. Nothing needs to be pushed away. You don't need to be better than you are. You don't need to perform peace. You only need to rest. That is enough. That is holy. The Buddha taught that all things arise and pass away, including suffering. Your grief, too, is a wave, and every wave eventually returns to stillness. Not because you forced it, but because you allowed it to move. So let it move. Let yourself move. And then let yourself be still. Just for now, just for this breath. You are not alone in your sorrow. The world is full of broken hearts that keep beating, full of souls that have loved and lost and loved again. You are one of them. And because of that, you belong here, in this breath, in this rest, in this quiet healing. So let the fog settle where it may. Let the ache speak softly, and let your heart, bruised but beating, find its rhythm once more in the stillness of now. There is a moment always when you begin to feel that your pain has defined you. that it has built walls around your spirit and carved its name on your identity. You walk through your day with a silent heaviness not always visible to others, but undeniable to you. Sometimes it feels like you have become your sadness, your grief, your longing. But I want you to pause and listen to this quiet truth. You are not what has happened to you. You are not the wound. You are the awareness of the wound. Like a mountain that endures seasons, you remain even as storms pass over you. In Zen, the practice is not to suppress, not to label, not to chase after healing like a goal, but to simply return to what is. And what is right now is your breath. This small, gentle tide of air moving in and out of your body, always there, always returning. Your breath does not abandon you. It does not judge you for how long you've been hurting. It does not rush you toward peace. It simply reminds you this moment is enough. And so are you, even in your sorrow, especially in your sorrow. You don't need to fix anything tonight. You don't need to figure out why it still hurts or when it will stop. You only need to soften, that's all. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. Let the belly rise without resistance. Let your spine rest like a willow tree, flexible, not stiff. Let your thoughts come and go, like clouds drifting without asking permission. They're not your enemy. They're just visitors. You can bow to them. You can smile and say, "I see you," and let them pass. This is mindfulness, not silence, not control, but seeing clearly and choosing gentleness instead of force. You've fought so much already. Maybe now it's time to stop fighting and start allowing. Allow the ache. Allow the tenderness. Allow the love that still lingers even if it feels like pain. Love doesn't disappear. It changes form. And when someone is no longer here in body, their presence does not vanish. It dissolves into a subtler reality, a feeling, a dream, a breath. Maybe you see them in the corner of your room when the light fades. Maybe you hear them in a song. Maybe you feel their hand in the wind or their smile in the sunrise. These are not illusions. These are invitations. Invitations to stay connected in a new way. A way that doesn't depend on touch, but on awareness. Zen whispers that what we lose, we do not truly lose. What we let go of, we carry differently. And this differently is not less, it's simply quieter. You don't have to forget to move forward. You don't have to sever to survive. You can hold what you loved in your heart like a small lantern, warm glowing without burning you. And when grief visits, because it will, you don't have to slam the door. You can offer it tea. You can sit in silence and let it speak. It will speak in memories, in tears, in the ache in your ribs. It will say, "This mattered. This person mattered. This loss is real." And then, without needing you to respond, it will leave. Not forever, but long enough for you to breathe again. That is the rhythm of healing. Not constant progress, but ebb and flow. Night and dawn. Stillness and movement. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are just living. And living in its purest form includes everything. Joy and pain, holding on and letting go. Trust that your grief is teaching you how to love more fully. Not just the people who left, but the people still here, including you, especially you. When you wake up tomorrow, and there may still be sorrow, but there may also be light, the kind that filters through trees, the kind that touches your skin like a memory, the kind that whispers, you made it through another night, and you will, again and again, not because you forced it, but because you surrendered to the breath. The breath is always now, and now is always enough. So as you rest, as your body drifts towards sleep, remember, you are not alone. You are held by something ancient, something deeper than the pain, something that doesn't need to be explained or named. The Buddha called it your true nature, and it has never been broken, not even once. There is a quiet truth that lives beneath your sorrow, a truth so gentle that it waits for you to slow down before it reveals itself. It doesn't shout or demand your attention. It simply abides patiently like the moon waiting behind the clouds. You may have been running from your pain, afraid that if you stopped moving, it would consume you. But stillness is not your enemy. Stillness is where healing begins. You've carried so much grief, regret, guilt, questions that spiral endlessly through your mind. Why did it happen? Could I have done something different? Will I ever feel whole again? These questions ache like bruises that never fade, and yet tonight, just for this moment, I invite you to let the questions rest. Not because they don't matter, but because you matter more. Let this be your refuge, a place where you don't need answers to be at peace. Buddhism teaches that life is full of dukkha, a word that means suffering. But not only suffering, it also means the unsatisfactory nature of things, the impermanence of all that we cling to. It teaches that attachment to what must change is the root of our sorrow. But this is not a cold teaching. It is a compassionate one. Because if you can see that everything is temporary, you can also begin to release your grip. You can stop clenching so tightly around the things and people and identities that were never meant to stay. And in that release, there is room. Room for breath. Room for stillness. Room for something new. You don't need to pretend to be strong tonight. You don't need to smile when your heart is trembling. You can be honest here, with yourself, with this moment, with the ache that pulses behind your ribs. There is a Zen story about a monk who carried a heavy bowl up a mountain every day. One day, he stumbled, and the bowl shattered. He sat down, expecting to feel shame or despair, but instead, he felt relief. He had never realized how much weight he was carrying until it was gone. Maybe tonight is your moment to put down the bowl. Maybe you don't need to carry the memories that hurt you anymore, not because they're not meaningful, but because they are already etched into your soul. You don't need to keep reliving the same scene, the same sentence, the same goodbye. Let them soften. Let them dissolve into the silence. The silence is not empty. It is sacred. It is where your breath becomes your guide. Breathe in and feel the earth holding you. Breathe out and let the weight fall away. No one is watching. No one is judging. There is no standard here, no perfect way to heal. There is only this moment, and it is enough. In Buddhist practice, we are taught to observe the mind like watching ripples on water. Each thought is a ripple, each emotion a wave. You don't have to jump in and fix them. You don't have to follow every feeling to its end. Just watch. Just be. You are not your thoughts. You are not your grief. You are the witness. And the witness is always free. Can you feel the shift? The subtle spaciousness that appears when you stop identifying with your suffering. It doesn't mean the pain vanishes. It means the pain loses its grip. It means you remember that there is more to you than this moment of hurt. There is softness in you. There is kindness. There is still something untouched by sorrow, like the sky above the storm. You don't have to climb out of your sadness tonight. You only need to rest beneath it. Let it be the blanket that covers you, not the prison that traps you. Feel your heartbeat. Feel your breath. Feel the way your body longs to relax. Listen to it. Trust it. It knows what you need. Maybe it's sleep. Maybe it's tears. Maybe it's silence. All are welcome here. All are sacred. When you wake, the world may look the same, but something within you will have shifted subtly, gently, but surely. Because you chose to listen. You chose to return. Not to who you were before the pain, but to who you are beneath it. That is your true self. That is the self that no grief can destroy. So rest now. Let your breath guide you home. You are safe. You are seen. You are whole. As you lie here in the quiet hush of night, your breath rising and falling like the tides, I invite you to imagine your sorrow as a river. It flows through you, carrying memories, emotions, fragments of conversations, the echo of laughter, the sting of loss. This river has no end and no beginning. It is the stream of your life, constantly moving. And yet, you are not the river. You are the sky above it, the one who sees, the one who allows it to pass. This is a truth often forgotten when we are hurting, that we are not the pain, but the awareness in which the pain appears. Buddhism teaches that the mind, when left untended, clings to what it cannot keep. It tries to hold on to fleeting joy, and it tries to push away inevitable sorrow. But the middle way invites neither clinging nor resistance. It invites witnessing, just watching, just breathing, just being. That is what we are doing here together, in this gentle space between thought and sleep. You are learning not to battle your grief, but to cradle it, to let it sit beside you like a child who is tired from crying. You do not scold this child. You do not abandon it. You hold it softly, patiently, without words. In doing so, you begin to dissolve the walls that suffering has built around your heart. You begin to trust the quiet. In the teachings of Zen, there is a koan that says, "No snowflake ever falls in the wrong place." It means that even in our deepest pain, there is a kind of sacred order, a hidden wisdom that the thinking mind cannot grasp, but the still heart can feel. Maybe you don't know why you lost what you lost. Maybe there is no explanation that can satisfy the ache. But what if you stopped asking why? What if you allowed not knowing to be enough? Can you feel the freedom in that? The peace that blooms when the mind no longer scrambles for meaning but simply bows to the mystery. It is not resignation. It is reverence. It is surrender, not in defeat, but in grace. Just as the moon does not fight the darkness, but reflects it, you too can shine through your sorrow. You too can become luminous in your letting go. Tonight, let your breath be your teacher. Let it show you how to soften, how to ease into the present moment. No resistance, no control, just the rhythm of life moving through you, in and out, again and again. There is nothing you must do, nothing you must become. You are already complete, just as you are. The sadness you carry is not a flaw. It is proof that you have loved, that you have cared, that you have risked your heart in a world where nothing stays. And that is something sacred. That is something holy. So do not rush to erase your grief. Do not judge yourself for feeling it still. It takes time to untangle the threads of attachment. It takes time to mourn a life that could have been. But each breath is a thread of light weaving a new beginning. Each moment of presence is a step across the bridge from pain to peace. Can you feel it? That gentle pull toward wholeness. That quiet voice within you that says you are not broken. You are healing. In the forest, trees do not hurry to bloom after winter. They wait, they rest, they trust in the warmth that will come. You are no different. Let this be your winter. Let this be your stillness, your time to curl inward and listen, to feel without fear, to be held by the silence. And when the time comes, your spring will find you. You will blossom, not in spite of your sorrow, but because of it. Because you were willing to stay. Because you were willing to feel. Because you were willing to love again. For now, let yourself drift. Let your thoughts float by like leaves on the river. You don't need to catch them. You don't need to change them. Just let them go. And in that letting go, find rest. You are not alone. You are not lost. You are right here. In this breath, in this stillness, in this sacred unfolding, in the hush of this night, as your breath begins to slow and your mind softens into the rhythm of stillness, I invite you to let go of the idea that healing must be fast. The world has taught you to rush to fix to measure your progress like a race, but your spirit does not bloom by force. In Zen, we speak often of effortless action, of wu-wei, doing without doing. It means allowing life to unfold without resistance, without the tight grip of control. Right now, grief may still pulse through you like an echo that won't fade. That's okay. You do not need to quiet it. You only need to sit beside it. Picture a monk sitting by a stream, not trying to stop the water, not trying to speed it up, just watching, just breathing, just being. Can you be that monk in your own heart? Can you listen to the sorrow without needing it to disappear? You see, healing is not something you conquer. It is something you consent to. It happens in the moments when you are not chasing peace, but letting peace find you. It is like falling asleep. You cannot force it. You must only trust it. Grief has no straight path. It weaves through you like smoke, unpredictable and mysterious. Some days it feels lighter. Some days it crashes like waves. But none of this is wrong. None of this is a sign that you're failing. In fact, each tear that rises is a testimony of your courage, your humanity. So, if your eyes begin to fill tonight, let them. Let your heart pour what it has held for so long. The Buddha said, in the end, only three things matter: how gently you lived, how lovingly you let go, and how deeply you were willing to be. This is your time to be willing, to let go gently, to let yourself be exactly as you are. You do not have to be fixed. You only have to be witnessed. And I am here whispering with you, holding this space so you can breathe again. Listen now to the sound of your breath, slow, steady, always returning. This breath does not ask you to be strong. It asks you to be real. It asks you to feel. And in doing so, it brings you home. Zen teaches that the lotus blooms not in the clear pond, but in the mud. That means your beauty, your awakening, your peace, it rises from the very place you thought was ruined. Your sorrow is the soil. Your presence is the sun. Your breath is the water. And slowly, without effort, something sacred grows. Maybe tonight, all you can do is lie here and breathe. That is enough. Maybe your thoughts still wander to what was lost. That is also enough. You are not required to move on. You are only asked to move inward, to listen, to soften, to trust. You are walking a sacred path, one paved not with answers, but with compassion. And each step you take is a return to yourself, to presence, to peace. The ache in your chest is not a punishment. It is the heart opening wider. It is the soul remembering its vastness. There is no shame in this tenderness. There is only light spilling through the cracks. Let it spill. Let it warm you. Let it guide you back to rest. There is a Zen parable about a man who loses his horse. Everyone in the village calls it misfortune, but the old man simply says, maybe. Later, the horse returns with more horses. Again, the villagers say, how lucky. But the old man only smiles, maybe. His son then breaks his leg riding one of the horses. Misfortune, they cry. Maybe, he replies. Soon soldiers come to take young men to war, but his son is spared. The meaning is clear. We do not know what is good or bad. We only know what is. You too can meet your sorrow with maybe. Maybe this is not the end. Maybe this pain is shaping you for something unseen. Maybe you are being softened, not broken. You don't need to know the outcome. You only need to rest in the moment. And this moment, this breath is here for you. It always has been. It always will be. Inhale and exhale. Let your shoulders sink. Let your jaw unclench. Let your heart be held by the silence. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a mystery to be honored. So, let the night hold you now. Let it whisper through the trees and the wind and the breath. Let it carry your sorrow into the stars. You are safe. You are soft. You are sacred. There is a space within you that nothing can touch, a space untouched by the grief of yesterday or the worry of tomorrow. Tonight I invite you to return to that place, not by force, not by seeking, but simply by listening. The more you listen to your breath, the more you will remember. It is not in the mind, that peace begins, but in the body, in the breath, in the stillness between thoughts. Soften into that stillness now. Let it wrap around you like a warm blanket. Imagine a forest in the early dawn mist curling over the earth. Each leaf silent, the world waiting. This is your inner world, quiet, sacred, and whole. Even when chaos swirls outside, even when the noise of life grows loud, this space waits within you. It does not demand words. It does not require understanding. It only asks for presence. Zen tells us that the mind is like muddy water. If you stir it, it becomes cloudier. But if you let it be, the mud settles and the water clears. Let your mind settle now. Don't chase the thoughts. Don't argue with them. Watch them float by like leaves on a stream. You are the witness, not the storm. Let your breath be the anchor. Inhale slowly. Exhale deeply. Again and again, deeper now, softer. The grief you carry may still knock at the door of your heart. That's okay. You do not need to send it away. You can open the door and let it sit beside you like an old friend. Pain, when welcomed, loses its sharpness. It becomes something else. Something human, something tender. It becomes the teacher you didn't know you needed. Buddhism does not promise that life will be free of suffering. Instead, it offers you the tools to hold suffering with grace. And one of those tools is this very moment, this moment of stillness where you are safe to feel. You may feel tired of the weight. You may wonder when it will lift. I can't give you a date, but I can give you this breath, and the next, and the next. And if you stay with them, you will find that something begins to soften. Not because you've solved the pain, but because you've stopped fighting it. Let go of resistance. Let go of timelines. Let go of the idea that you should be somewhere else by now. You are here, and here is sacred. The Zen masters say, sit, just sit. Everything will come. You don't have to search for healing. It will come in your breath, in your sleep, in your surrender. Think now of a bamboo grove, strong yet supple. It bends with the wind, never breaking. It does not resist the storm. It sways. It breathes. It returns. You are that bamboo. You do not need to be rigid. You do not need to stand tall all the time. You can bow. You can weep. And still you remain rooted. Still you remain whole. If your chest feels heavy, place your hand there gently. Feel the warmth of your touch. Whisper silently to yourself, it's okay. I am here. I am safe. You are not alone in your grief. Others have walked this road. Others have sat in the night and wept into their pillows. And yet the sun still rose. The breath still came. Life in its quiet wisdom continues, and so will you. Not because you force it, but because life loves you too much to let you go. Let yourself be loved by life again. Let the moonlight pour over you like a mother's hand. Let the silence remind you that there is nothing you must do right now, except be. The world may ask for performance, but this moment asks only for presence. Return to your breath. It will never betray you. With each inhale, you say yes to this moment. With each exhale, you let go of the weight. Nothing more is needed. You are already enough. Even with the ache, even with the longing, even with the questions that have no answers. Enough. Let the wind carry the rest. Let the trees hold your sorrow. Let the earth beneath you remind you that you belong, that you are whole, that you are loved, not for what you do, but for who you are. This is Zen. This is coming home. There is a sound that rises not from the world, but from within you. A sound so gentle, so subtle, that only silence can hear it. It is not your voice, and yet it belongs to you. It is the hum of your being, the echo of your knowing nature. And when all outer noise fades, that inner sound becomes your compass. Tonight, I ask you to listen, not with your ears, but with your presence. Listen for what lies beneath the grief, beneath the fear, beneath the ache. There is a current moving there. It is quiet, like a stream, flowing under winter ice, but it never stops. It carries the memory of peace, the rhythm of breath, the stillness of all that is eternal. Even now, as your mind tries to hold on to something, perhaps a name, a moment, a regret, I invite you to soften that grip. What if there was nothing to hold? What if it was enough to float, to drift, to be carried? So many times you've been told to fight, to be strong, to push through. But Zen says, what if strength is not in resistance, but in surrender? What if real courage is not in climbing higher, but in laying down your armor and allowing the world to see you grief and all? Like a river does not question its course, you too can trust the flow of your life. Yes, grief will rise again. Yes, memories will visit you, but they don't have to consume you. You can welcome them like wind through a window, passing, touching, but never staying. Let go of permanence. Let go of the idea that anything must stay the same. Everything changes. That's not the curse. That's the gift. The flower blooms and then it falls. The moon waxes and then it wanes. You too are meant to evolve. You are allowed to feel differently tomorrow than you do tonight. You are allowed to change your mind, to change your path, to begin again. Imagine standing at the edge of a lake in the early morning. Mist hovers over the surface. You cannot see what lies beneath, but you trust it's there. That's how healing works. It may not look like anything at first, but it is forming beneath the surface. Every breath you take in awareness is a ripple across that lake. And with time, the ripples settle. The water clears. You begin to see again. Not the same way, but with softer eyes, with a wiser heart. Tonight is not a night for answers. It is a night for allowing. Allow your body to rest. Allow your mind to float. Allow your heart to break open, not in pain, but in spaciousness. There is room inside you for all that you feel. You are not too much. Your sorrow is not a burden. It is a message. It says, something here was once loved deeply, and that love does not disappear. It changes form. It becomes the light behind your eyes, the warmth in your touch, the kindness you offer others. Nothing is wasted, not a single tear, not a single ache. In the Buddhist sutras, there is a story of a monk who lost everything: his family, his village, his health. He came to the Buddha and said, "I have nothing left, not even hope." And the Buddha replied, "Then now you are ready. For it is in emptiness that truth arises, not in the fullness of the world, but in the quiet spaces it leaves behind. You don't need to rush to fill the silence. Let it speak to you. Let it cleanse you. Let it hold you. Like a bowl that becomes useful only when it is empty, your stillness becomes sacred when it is no longer trying to be anything else. You are not broken. You are open. And in that openness, the light enters. Let that light in now. Let it pour into your chest. Let it dissolve the tension in your shoulders. Let it settle in your belly. Warm, calm, steady. Let yourself be lit from within, not by effort, but by being. There is no task for you here, no performance, no expectation, just being. And that is enough. That is always enough. So rest now. Not because the pain is gone, but because you are safe, even with it. Sleep, not to forget, but to remember what peace feels like. Drift, not to escape, but to return. To return to the place where breath is prayer, where silence is song, where you are already whole. And tomorrow, should it come, you will rise softer. Not because the grief disappeared, but because you learned to carry it with love. There is a truth you may not have heard often enough. You are not alone in your grief. Even when the world goes silent around you, there is a field where all sorrow meets, where the ache of every heart quietly pulses like a shared heartbeat under the surface of life. Tonight, I invite you to step into that field, not to be overwhelmed, but to feel the companionship of the unseen. You are walking a path countless others have walked before. And as you walk, you leave footprints for others who will come after. This is how compassion is built layer by layer, life by life. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that suffering is not a mistake. It is a gateway. Not one we would choose, but one that can lead us deeper into presence. Do not hurry past it. Don't push the pain aside as if it has no place. Instead, hold it gently in your palm. Examine it like a precious stone. What does it reveal? What hidden message lies within it? Often, grief shows us the depth of our capacity to love. The more you ache, the more you once loved, and perhaps still do. Love does not end with absence. It only changes expression. Maybe now it speaks through memory, or through the small rituals you carry in silence. Maybe it's a name you whisper to yourself before bed, or a habit you keep alive because it reminds you of a time you treasure. That too is love. That too is presence. I invite you now to breathe as if you are breathing for all those who can no longer do so. Let your breath become a bridge. Inhale with reverence. Exhale with release. You are here alive with this sacred opportunity to turn even sorrow into light. Can you feel how the breath moves through your body? How it enters without force and leaves without resistance? That is how we are meant to live, without forcing, without clinging. Like breath, we come and we go. Each moment is a gift we unwrap without guarantee of the next. So be here fully in this moment. The blanket against your skin, the steady rhythm of your chest, the weight of your body gently melting into the earth. Everything is holding you. The bed beneath you, the air around you, the quiet above you. You are supported. Even when you feel empty, you are supported. Let go of the need to fix anything. Nothing tonight needs your solving. Only your witnessing. Can you rest your awareness like a feather on water? Light soft, barely touching, but completely present. That is mindfulness, not effort, not perfection, just being with what is. The Buddha once spoke of the second arrow. The first arrow is pain. It strikes without warning. The second is suffering, the story we build around the pain. Why me? This shouldn't have happened. I can't go on. But the second arrow is optional. Tonight, I invite you to lay it down. You cannot undo the first arrow, but you can choose to remove the second. Let the pain be pain without the armor of judgment. Let yourself feel without commentary. Cry if you need. Sigh if it comes. Then rest. Just rest. In the stillness, you may hear something you haven't heard in a long time. Your own soul speaking. It may say only a few words. I am here. Am listening. I healing. Listen to that voice. Let it grow stronger with each breath. It does not promise a life without loss, but it offers a way through step by step, night by night. And in time, that voice becomes your guide. It leads you not away from grief, but into a more spacious place where grief and peace can coexist. Where tears fall like spring rain, nourishing, not drowning. Where your pain becomes a prayer for all who suffer. Where your healing becomes a light for others to follow. You do not need to do anything more tonight. Just stay. Just be. And in the quiet trust that something sacred is unfolding within you even now. There is a moment just before sleep claims you when the boundaries between what is and what has been begin to dissolve, when memory becomes mist and the body softens into timelessness. In that moment, you might feel a surge of emotion rising like a tide. Perhaps it is sadness. Perhaps it is longing. Perhaps it is something nameless that floats just beneath the surface. Whatever it is, let it come. Let it pass through you like wind through an open window. You are not here to trap it, nor to chase it away. You are here to witness. This, too, is the practice of mindfulness. You may have heard it said in Buddhist teachings, all things arise and pass away. This is not a warning, it is a promise. A promise that no feeling, no thought, no moment will last forever. And so, you do not need to fear your sorrow tonight. You do not need to brace against it. Let it rise, crest, and fall like a wave returning to the ocean. With each breath, you return to the shore of yourself. Breathing in, you acknowledge what is here. Breathing out, you make space for it to change. Again and again. Perhaps your heart feels tired from carrying too much for too long. You've tried to be strong, tried to keep moving, tried to keep smiling, even when the inner world was cracking. But strength does not always look like endurance. Sometimes it looks like surrender, like resting, like whispering, "I can't carry this alone anymore." And you don't have to. You never did. Imagine now that you are seated at the edge of a tranquil lake. The surface is still the moon, casting its gentle reflection. You drop a pebble of pain into the water. Watch the ripples widen, then dissolve. That is your grief. It moves through you, but it does not define you. You are the lake, not the ripple, the stillness, not the stone. Come back to the breath. Inhale through the nose, long and slow. Exhale through the mouth, soft and smooth. Feel your body melt into this rhythm. There is no destination, only presence. No perfection, only practice. Just as monks walk the same path day after day, not to arrive somewhere, but to deepen the walking, so too can you return to this moment, not to escape your suffering, but to meet it with gentleness. Sometimes you may feel numb, as though nothing touches you anymore. That too is part of the path. When the heart has been hurt too many times, it may close its doors to protect itself. But even the most guarded temple eventually opens to the sun. You do not need to force it. Just breathe. Just listen. Just be here. Perhaps you remember a face now, someone you miss, someone you lost. Their image lingers behind your eyes like a candle that was blown out too soon. Let them be here with you, in your breath, in your stillness, in your memory. Invite them not as ghosts, but as echoes of love. No longer in the body, but still present in your mind's quiet garden. And if the tears come, let them fall. Rain does not ask permission to bless the earth. Your tears are the same. They cleanse, they soften, they make room for new growth. Buddhist practice invites us to sit with all that arises, not turning away, not clinging. What if you could love your pain the way you love the sunset? Not because it pleases you, but because it is part of life's wholeness. In loving your pain, you reclaim your wholeness. You become both the night and the stars, the silence and the song. And when the pain eases, as it surely will, do not chase it. Let it go. Everything changes. Everything returns. Just as winter softens into spring, so will your grief soften in time. But for now, you do not need to rush toward healing. You only need to remain open to it. Let the breath guide you. Let this stillness hold you. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are simply becoming more spacious, more tender, more real. This is the path of Zen, not a path of escape, but a path of turning toward truth, toward self, toward peace. And tonight, that path begins not with effort, but with ease. Close your eyes if they are not yet closed. Feel the quiet entering you like morning light through a rice paper window. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply arrives. And so too does your healing silently, softly on the wings of breath. There is an ancient Zen saying that goes, Sit quietly, doing nothing. Spring comes and the grass grows by itself. Let that wisdom settle into your being like dew, settling on the morning grass. You do not need to strive so hard to mend what feels broken inside. Not every wound needs immediate closure. Not every ache demands explanation. Sometimes, the most healing thing you can do is nothing at all, except be here breathing with what is. In this moment, I invite you to release the need to understand everything, to let go of the burden of solving your pain. The mind will always seek answers, always try to fix, to change, to improve. But the heart, when you listen closely, only wants presence. The heart doesn't need clarity, it needs kindness. As you lie there still and soft, picture yourself as a mountain. Even when winds howl, storms pass through, or snow covers your peak, you remain grounded, unshaken in your essence. Your grief may swirl around you, fierce and unrelenting at times, but beneath it all, you remain whole. You may feel tired, not just physically, but soul deep. That tiredness is not a failure. It is a sacred sign that you've been carrying too much for too long. Let this be your invitation to set it down. Imagine now that you are holding a bowl filled with everything you've been carrying: memories that sting, questions that burn, regrets that gnaw at the edges of your mind. Slowly, gently tip the bowl over and let it spill onto the earth. Watch as the contents dissolve into light, into silence. Nothing is lost. It is simply released. You can pick it up again later if you need to. But for now, just rest. Let your hands be empty. Let your breath be full. In Buddhist teachings, there is the concept of letting be, not forcing change, not grasping for resolution, but allowing life to unfold as it is. It's different from giving up. Letting be is trust. Trust in the wisdom of impermanence. Trust in the intelligence of the present. Trust that healing will come, not because you chase it, but because you stop running from yourself. Your breath is the doorway to this trust. Breathe in and feel your body as it is, not as you wish it to be. Breathe out and feel the release, the loosening of something old. Again and again. Each breath a soft step back home. Maybe you feel a dull ache in your chest tonight. A silence where a voice used to live. Maybe you lie awake asking why something ended or why someone left. In Zen, we do not try to answer such questions with logic. We answer them with awareness. We sit beside the ache and offer it tea. We do not interrogate our sadness, we befriend it. Imagine your grief as a small bird, trembling and wet, resting in your palm. You would not shout at it, would you? You would not demand that it fly. No, you would cup it gently, shelter it, offer your warmth until it is ready. Be that shelter for yourself now. You have lived through things no one knows. You've held back tears to keep others comfortable. You've whispered your fears into the dark, hoping someone would hear. Tonight, I hear you. This space hears you. And more importantly, you are allowed to hear yourself. Not the noise of judgment or self-blame, but the soft hum of your own existence. The fact that you are here, still breathing, still feeling, that is sacred. That is enough. Buddhist practice teaches us to look at what is without flinching, without embellishment. It teaches us to stay. Stay with the breath. Stay with the ache. Stay with the now, because only here in this unadorned moment can transformation happen. You do not need to be brave. You do not need to be wise. You only need to be present. If tears come, let them. If nothing comes, let that be too. Some nights are full of feeling. Others are just silent. Both are holy. Listen now, not with your ears, but with your body. Can you feel the stillness settling into your bones? Can you feel the way your belly rises and falls like a calm sea? Let that rhythm rock you. Let the quiet hold you like a lullaby, older than words. In this silence, you are not alone. You are accompanied by countless beings across time and space who, just like you, have grieved, hoped, hurt, and healed. You are not separate. You are not forgotten. You are part of something vast and tender and eternal. Soften your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Allow your hands to rest palms up, ready to receive whatever peace may come. You are not here to achieve enlightenment tonight. You are here to remember it was never lost. Like the moon behind clouds, your inner light has always been there quietly waiting. Let this be your practice now. Not striving, not resisting, but remembering. Remembering your breath. Remembering your stillness. Remembering that in the eyes of the present moment, you are already whole. There's a kind of sorrow that doesn't speak in loud sobs or dramatic pain. It creeps in quietly, like fog rolling across the hills, and before you know it, everything feels heavier. You move through the day with a weight in your chest, and at night, it lies beside you, nameless and still. Maybe you've tried to ignore it. Maybe you've told yourself to be strong, to push through. But tonight, I invite you to stop pushing, to stop pretending. Instead, let's sit with that quiet ache, like old friends reunited after a long time apart. There's a Zen parable about a man who loses his only horse. The villagers tell him, "What bad luck." But the man simply says, "Maybe." Later, the horse returns, bringing with it 3 wild horses. Again, the villagers cry, "What good fortune!" The man responds, "Maybe." His son tries to tame one of the wild horses, is thrown, and breaks his leg. "What terrible luck," the villagers lament. Maybe, the man says. Later, soldiers arrive to draft young men for war, but the son is spared because of his injury. "What good luck," they say. And again, the man replies, "Maybe." This story isn't about indifference. It's about non-attachment, about living without clinging to what seems good or resisting what seems bad. What if your grief is not a mistake? What if it's not something you need to fix? What if, like the old man in the story, you could sit with it and simply say, maybe, this sorrow is shaping you in ways you can't see yet. Maybe it's creating space for new wisdom to grow. Breathe into that possibility. Let go of the need to label this experience. Just feel it. In the gentle silence of this moment, your pain is allowed to exist without being judged. It doesn't have to be justified. It doesn't have to be useful. It just is. And you, my dear one, are allowed to feel it. You are allowed to be soft, to be undone, to be exactly as you are. Let that be your mantra tonight. I am allowed. You are allowed to grieve someone who never apologized. You are allowed to miss something that was never yours. You are allowed to need more time than others think reasonable. Buddhism teaches us to return to the breath, Not because the breath solves our problems, but because it anchors us to what is real. The breath doesn't argue, it doesn't deny, it just is. Like the wind through trees, like rain on stone, your breath continues, regardless of your thoughts. Let it carry you tonight. Feel the inhale, the invitation to be here. Feel the exhale, the permission to let go. Again and again. With each breath, you are coming home to yourself. The self that is not the story, not the sadness, not the identity built from wounds, but the self that watches, the self that simply knows. In Buddhist philosophy, this is called the knowing nature. It is not a thing you find, it's what remains when everything else falls away. When you stop running, when you stop pretending, when you stop striving to be anything other than what you already are. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a snow globe. Right now, the flakes are swirling memories, thoughts, fears. But if you stop shaking it, if you just let it rest, the snow will settle. The water will clear, and in that stillness, you will see the shape of what truly matters. Let that stillness begin now. Let your thoughts swirl if they must, but don't engage them. Don't feed them. Just watch them like clouds moving across a vast sky. You are not the storm. You are the sky. You are not the grief. You are the awareness that holds it. In that awareness, everything softens. Even pain becomes less sharp when you stop resisting it. Even sorrow finds its rhythm when you give it space to breathe. Tonight, you are not here to perform healing. You are here to rest, to lie still, and be cradled by the wisdom of the present moment. You've already done enough. You've already endured more than most will ever know. You don't need to earn your rest. You don't need to explain your weariness. Just lie here and let the breath do what it knows how to do. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. Inhale presence. Exhale the past. Inhale gentleness. Exhale judgment. Inhale, I am here. Exhale. That is enough. Let this be your sanctuary. A space without demands, without shoulds, without expectations. Just the sound of your breath. The beat of your heart. The quiet of now. You may find that your mind still wanders. That's okay. Minds wander. That's what they do. The practice is not to stop the wandering. The practice is to return. Over and over, gently, without blame. Come back to this breath. Come back to this body. Come back to this moment. The only one that has ever truly existed. You are not broken, my love. You are not behind. You are simply here, alive, breathing, becoming. That is enough. That is everything. There is a deep kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from physical effort, but from carrying emotional weight for too long. You know it well, the way it lingers in your chest, the way your shoulders droop under unseen burdens, the way sleep doesn't truly restore you, because your heart is still on guard, still remembering, still holding on. But what if tonight you allowed yourself to put it all down? Not forever, not because it's resolved, but just for now. Like setting down a heavy basket after miles of walking. Just for now, you can let your body rest without guilt. Just for now, you can let your mind uncoil. In Buddhist teaching, this letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is knowing the difference between what belongs to you and what never did. And even more, it is knowing that clinging to pain out of habit only creates more suffering. You have done your best. You've held on, you've pushed through, you've made it here. That is already enough. Let that be enough. There's a Zen saying, when you sit, just sit. When you walk, just walk. Above all, don't wobble. Tonight, I invite you to simply lie here, not thinking of what needs to be fixed, not planning how to be better, not wobbling between past and future, just lying here like a stone in a still pond, perfectly still, perfectly whole, perfectly now. You do not need to justify your healing. You do not need to explain why you're tired. The world may rush on, but you, right now, are allowed to stop. You are allowed to breathe without purpose, to exist without performance. This is your breath. Inhale and feel the air remind you that you are alive. Exhale and release the burden of becoming. Again and again. There is no deadline on healing, no finish line on grief. Some wounds become part of your inner landscape, less visible perhaps, but never fully gone. And that's okay. Wholeness is not the absence of pain. It's the acceptance of everything you are. And who you are includes everything you've survived. The quiet nights, the aching days, the unanswered questions, the hope that flickered and sometimes went out. It all belongs. It's all part of your path. And like a river that flows even when unseen beneath frozen banks, your life moves forward even when you feel stuck. Tonight, you don't need to push that river. You don't need to force clarity. Just float. Just trust. Just rest. There is beauty in not knowing. There is softness in surrender. Even if your mind tells you otherwise, your breath knows the way home. Let it guide you. Let it soothe the tightness behind your eyes. Let it loosen the knots in your chest. Let it remind you that right now, nothing is required of you. Not answers, not strength, not smiles. Only breath, only presence. Buddhism reminds us of the truth of impermanence. Nothing stays. Not sorrow, not joy, not confusion. Everything shifts, everything transforms, even you, even now. So if you feel like a mess, remember, this is not your final form. If you feel like breaking, remember, it's just one part of the rhythm. Breathe in, let it rise. Breathe out, let it pass. You are not your sadness. You are the witness to your sadness. You are not your fear. You are the sky that holds the storm. The storm may swirl, the thunder may echo, but you, dear one, are the vast stillness beyond. And when the storm tires itself out, when the clouds thin, you will still be here unchanged, whole enough. Tonight is not a test. It is not a measure of your spiritual worth. It is a pause, a moment of grace, a chance to remember that you are more than the thoughts you carry, more than the shame that visits you, more than the roles you perform. You are simply here, awake to your breath, anchored in this moment. No need to resist, no need to chase. Just lie here and let the teachings of the breath unfold. Inhale, trust. Exhale, release. Inhale, I am safe. Exhale, I am home. Let those words spiral gently in your mind, like prayer beads slipping through your fingers. Repeat them as often as you need. There is no rush. There is no failure. Only return. Return to stillness. Return to compassion. Return to the knowing that even this, whatever this is, will pass. And in its place, something new will quietly emerge, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. That is the Zen way. No forcing, no clinging, no fixing, only presence, only breath, only now. Let that be your refuge tonight. Let that be your temple. You don't need incense or chants or robes. This moment is sacred enough. You, exactly as you are sacred enough. No more striving. No more pretending. Just breath and rest and peace. Sometimes, the deepest suffering arises not from what happened, but from what we keep telling ourselves about it. You replay scenes like old films, asking what you could have said, what you should have done differently, as if altering a memory could rewrite the ache in your heart. But the past is not a stage you can walk back onto and perform again. The curtain has closed. The actors have gone. Only your mind, stubborn and tender, remains behind, sweeping up regrets like confetti. I invite you now, in this still moment, to drop the broom. You don't have to tidy what hurt you. You don't have to give your sorrow an explanation. In the teachings of the Buddha, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The pain comes from life itself, raw and unpredictable. The suffering comes from resistance, from the inner voice that says, this should not have happened. And yet it did. And yet you are here, breathing, listening, still capable of receiving the softness of this moment. What if instead of judging your grief, you could just witness it, not analyze it, not suppress it, just witness, like a monk watching a lotus bloom slowly from the still pond? You might begin to see that your grief is not a flaw. It is a mirror showing you how deeply you've loved. And love, even when broken, is never wasted. Every tear is a thread in the robe of your humanity. Every ache is a footprint on the path toward wisdom. Do not rush away from them. Do not push them underground, where they fester in the dark. Sit beside your sorrow like an old friend. Offer it tea. Ask it what it needs, not what it should become. This is mindfulness, not forcing joy, but noticing pain without turning away. It's not about fixing anything. It's about seeing clearly. And when you truly see, without defense, without narrative, without rushing to solve something, shifts. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, a loosening. A little more air in your chest. A little more softness in your voice when you speak to yourself. Buddhist practice is not a ladder you climb. It's a circle you return to. Again and again, you come back to this moment, this breath, this awareness. And from here, something else becomes possible. Rest. Rest not as escape, but as reverence. Rest as a way of saying to yourself, I've carried enough. I've done enough. I am enough. So tonight, let yourself rest deeply. No heroic effort, no grand awakening, just the quiet revolution of being kind to yourself. Just the radical act of laying down and not getting up until your bones, your nerves, your breath agree it's time. And while you lie there, you can imagine your thoughts drifting past like clouds. Don't reach for them. Don't name them. Don't chase. Just watch them come. Watch them go. And in between each passing cloud, a little more sky, a little more blue, a little more spaciousness inside you. This is the sky mind Zen speaks of. Your mind, when ungrasping, is vast and clear. It can hold storms and sunlight together. It can contain contradiction without confusion. And your heart, when held gently, can beat with a new rhythm, not of anxiety or proving or pretending, but of peace. The kind of peace that doesn't deny reality, but makes room for it. The kind of peace that holds sadness, the way the earth holds rain tenderly, without judgment, knowing it too shall pass. So, rest in that. Rest in your own natural rhythm. Let go of needing to be understood. Let go of needing to understand. Some things cannot be made sense of. They can only be felt, held, released. And in that process, healing happens. Not always loudly. Often it's quiet, like a flower blooming in a dark room, like forgiveness entering through a side door, like your body finally exhaling the breath it didn't know it was holding. You've waited long enough for permission to rest. So here it is. You are allowed to heal without performing progress. You are allowed to be soft in a world that rewards hardness. You are allowed to grieve in your own way, in your own time, without comparison. Tonight is yours. This moment is enough. You don't have to transcend. You don't have to awaken. You just have to arrive. To let your weight sink into the ground. To let your thoughts unspool without resistance. To let your breath rock you gently like a lullaby. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. That's all. That's everything. The body knows how to return to peace when the mind steps aside, so let it. Let your belly rise and fall like ocean tides. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands soften. Let your forehead smooth like still water. Every part of you deserves peace, not just the pretty parts, the polished parts, the healed parts. All of you, even the mess, especially the mess. The mess is holy too. It's all part of the mandala. And as you surrender to this stillness, remember, this is not the end of your story. This is a rest stop on the long and winding road of your becoming. You will rise again, not because you forced it, but because you honored this rest, because you let grief speak and then listened, because you trusted that even broken things carry wisdom. And so you rest now, as the sky darkens, as the world quiets, as the breath deepens. You rest not as escape, but as ceremony. This is your offering. This is your healing. Let it begin. There are wounds that no one sees, but they walk with you like shadows at dusk, long and stretching far beyond the edge of who you thought you were. These wounds do not bleed. They ache, silently, daily. They sit beside you in the quiet rise, with you in the morning, and whisper through the cracks of your daily life. You try to keep going, because that's what everyone tells you to do. Move on, they say. But the truth is, the soul does not move on like a traveler catching a train. It lingers. It remembers. And grief is not a line. It is a tide, sometimes gentle, sometimes crashing, always returning. And so I invite you now to stop outrunning it. Tonight, sit down beside it. Let it wash over you. Let the tide pull you gently into the depth of your own presence. Breathe. Inhale slowly. Exhale deeply. Nothing to fix, nothing to hide. You are not broken. You are simply carrying what is too heavy to hold alone. But here in this quiet space, you are not alone. You have this voice, this breath, this moment. Let it cradle you. Let it soften the hardened edges you've built around your heart. In Buddhism, we speak of dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness of life, the inherent difficulty of being human. It is not a punishment, it is a truth. And in accepting this truth, you step into liberation. Not the kind of liberation that comes with answers, but the kind that comes with surrender. You do not have to figure it all out tonight. You do not have to know where this path leads. All that's asked is that you show up fully, honestly, gently. Let the breath guide you. It has always been your teacher. Long before the mind formed words, the breath formed life. It connects you to now, to here, to being. And being is enough. Let the breath in. Feel its coolness. Let the breath out. Feel the release. Again, in and out, like waves lapping a quiet shore. As you rest into this rhythm, I invite you to turn inward, not to judge, but to witness. Close your eyes and see with the heart. Who is the one grieving? Who is the one remembering? Who is the one watching the rise and fall of emotion? That watcher, that pure awareness, is not your pain. It is the space that holds it. It is spacious. It is calm. It is you, before the stories, before the roles, before the wounds. This awareness is your original home. The teachings call it your knowing nature, a presence that is vast, untouched, and always available. When you rest in it, even pain can pass through without piercing. Even sorrow can arise and dissolve like dew under morning light. Try it now. Let a feeling rise, not to attach, just to observe. Maybe sadness, maybe longing, maybe fear. Let it come. Name it softly, like greeting a guest at the door. And then, let it pass. Do not invite it to stay. Do not lock it out either. Simply bow to it and watch it fade. Just like breath emotions come and go. They are clouds, not the sky. You are the sky. Always wide enough, always deep enough. In this moment, you are learning the art of resting in that sky. You are remembering that peace does not mean the absence of storm. It means knowing you are the sky and not the storm. This is the wisdom of Zen, not to escape life, but to sit fully within it even when it trembles, especially when it trembles. You do not need to become anyone else. You are not a project. You are not a failure for hurting. Healing is not a straight line. It is a spiral. Some days you will feel the old ache as if it were new. That's okay. That's part of the spiral. The goal is not to be above suffering. The goal is to be with it, with compassion. Picture yourself now sitting beside your grief, not as enemies, but as companions. You do not need to push it away. You only need to say, I see you. I will not abandon you. And already something shifts. Already the grip loosens. You don't need all the answers. You just need tenderness. So let your breath be tender. Let your thoughts be slow. Let your heartbeat soften. And as your body settles, imagine roots growing from your feet into the earth. Deep, steady, ancient. The earth knows how to hold pain. It has cradled billions of stories. It has felt the tears of lovers, the cries of children, the silence of the dying, and yet it blooms. So will you, in your time, in your way. Not as who you were before the grief, but as who you are becoming through it. Stronger, not despite your wounds, but because you carried them, and you kept walking. Tonight, though, you do not walk. Tonight, you rest. You let the world spin without you. You let the breath be enough. You let the stillness teach you. The stillness says you are not alone. The stillness says you are not too much. The stillness says you are already held. So sink into it. Let yourself be gathered by the dark, the way a child is gathered by the arms of a loving parent. No questions, no struggle, just trust, just breath, just this. And as you drift, remember this truth. Nothing needs to be perfect for it to be beautiful. Not you, not your life, not this moment. The cracks in your soul, let the light in. The trembling in your voice means you are still singing. The ache in your heart means you are still loving. And all of it is sacred. All of it is welcome here. Let it be, let it be, let it be, and let go. You do not have to carry everything tonight. You do not have to become light. You only have to trust that it will return. It always does. Even in the darkest night, the dawn is already preparing to rise. Rest, dear heart. Rest like the earth between seasons. Rest like the ocean between tides. Rest like the soul between lifetimes. You are safe. You are loved. You are here. And that is enough. There are days when sorrow clings to you like a shadow, persistent and heavy. And even though you try to walk forward, it weighs on your steps, turning each breath into effort, each thought into a looping reel of memories that you cannot turn off. You wonder why you still ache when time has moved on, why, even in moments of silence, you are not free. But the teachings say that grief, in its essence, is not an enemy. It is a teacher, cloaked in discomfort. A lesson in impermanence, waiting patiently until you are ready to understand. So now, you breathe, gently, slowly. Let your breath be the raft that carries you over the waters of mourning. Don't fight the tide. Let it move. Let it guide. Grief comes when something meaningful is taken or lost, but meaning never truly vanishes. It transforms. Like clouds dissolving into rain, like a candle melting into light. When you remember the smile, the voice, the presence of someone who is no longer here, what you are touching is not the pain of their absence, but the echo of their presence. And that presence never leaves you. Sit with this truth softly. Don't demand that grief be gone. Don't label it as wrong. It is the echo of love wearing the robe of absence. The teachings show us the path of non-resistance, not pushing grief away, not clinging to it either. You're invited instead to observe it. Just observe. This is grief, you whisper. This is longing, and you sit. Like the Buddha under the Bodhi tree, you do not run. You let it come. The waves crash and roll through your chest, but you, like the still earth, remain present. In time, you'll see that grief does not ask to be solved, only acknowledged. It asks for presence, not fixing. So now bring your attention to your body. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Uncurl the fists you didn't know you were making. Even in sleep, grief can follow you, twisting dreams into echoes of the past. But tonight, you will guide it into stillness. Place your hands on your belly. Feel it rise and fall, like the ocean's tide. With every breath, you create space for grief to be seen, but not to dominate. You are not the sadness. You are the one witnessing it, and the witness is always free. In the stillness of this night, you might begin to sense that there is no wrongness in your sorrow, only the mistaken idea that it should not be there. But who decided that joy should stay and grief should go? Both are guests at the table of the heart. The teachings say welcome them, serve them tea, listen. Because when you truly listen, you will find that even grief has something gentle to say. Perhaps it says, "You loved deeply. That's why I'm here." Or perhaps it says, "It's time to soften the walls around your heart." And if you're willing, just for tonight, to stop struggling against what you feel, you might discover that peace was waiting underneath it all, not in the absence of grief, but in your willingness to befriend it. You can imagine now a quiet temple nestled high in the misty mountains, where monks sit in silence, letting sorrow pass through them, like wind through pine trees. Nothing is held, nothing is resisted. The bell rings, and even the echoes are welcomed. Be like that. Let the echoes come. Let them go. Every memory that stings is also a reminder of the beauty you once held. Don't fear remembering. Don't fear tears. They are sacred water. They soften the soil of the soul. And from that softened earth, new life always comes. Trust this. Trust that the night is not your enemy. It is your sanctuary. Trust that healing is not something you do. It is something that happens when you stop interfering. Like a pond clearing once the ripples settle. So, settle now. Breathe. And as you breathe, invite this thought: I allow grief to move through me. Repeat it gently. No urgency, no demand, just an invitation. Let the mind follow the breath. Let the heart lean into the quiet. Nothing needs to be fixed tonight. You are already whole even with the cracks, especially with the cracks. They are where the light comes in. And if you've forgotten the sound of your own stillness, then stay here a while longer. Let the silence teach you. Let the teachings cradle you. You are not alone. Every being who has loved has also mourned. Every person who has lost has also healed. You are walking a sacred path, one that countless feet have walked before, and they left signs. Listen for them. Sometimes it's in the hush between your breaths. Sometimes it's in the way the breeze brushes your skin. Sometimes it's in the softness of your pillow, the warmth of your blanket. The world is not against you. Even grief is not against you. It is simply a doorway. And tonight, we sit together at its threshold. Not to run through it, but to notice, to be still, to remember that your heart is strong enough to feel deeply and still remain unbroken. Like a tree that bends with the wind, but does not snap. And when the morning comes, the sun will rise again, not because you forced it, but because it is in the nature of all things to return to light. Until then, rest. Let the teachings wrap around you like a soft shawl. Let the breath be your mantra. In, out, in, out. Let go. Let be. Let sleep come. You may have noticed how suffering tends to grow louder when the world grows quiet. In the stillness of night, when no one else is speaking and no roles are being played. The voices inside you come forward, some gentle, some aching, some confused. This is not a sign of weakness. This is the natural unfolding of a mind that longs to be understood. Many people fear the silence, but Zen teaches that in silence lies the deepest clarity. The pain you feel now is not an intruder, it is a messenger. It only speaks more loudly in quiet spaces because you are finally listening. And what does it say? Perhaps it whispers of moments you've avoided, emotions you've buried, fears you've pushed away. But you do not need to be afraid of this inner voice. You do not need to shut it out. Tonight, you will listen, not with judgment, not with the intention to control, but with compassion. Close your eyes. Place your awareness behind your eyes like a soft light that watches the mind unfold. The thoughts will come, some fast, some slow, some sharp, some dull. Let them all come, but don't chase them. Don't grab onto any. Just let them float like clouds across the wide sky. The sky never fights the clouds. It just holds them without effort. You are the sky. Your awareness is vast. Your thoughts, no matter how troubling, are just passing formations. And here is where the healing begins, not in the pushing away, but in the spacious allowing. You may feel guilt. You may feel regret. These are common visitors on the path of awakening. Let them enter. Invite them to sit for a while. Ask them what they want to say. You might be surprised by their softness. Guilt often points to your values. Regret often reveals your longing to be whole. These are not flaws. These are signs that you care, that you are still alive inside. Breathe into that. With each breath, imagine that you are creating space around each feeling, not trying to fix it, not trying to label it, just space. Spacious awareness is like the morning sun. It does not discriminate. It shines on every blade of grass. So too, can you let your awareness beam on every part of yourself? The strong, the hurting, the confused, the growing. There is no part of you unworthy of light. In Zen, we don't divide the self into good and bad. We simply observe what is. The angry part is just energy moving in a tight circle. The sad part is water that hasn't flowed. The fearful part is a child seeking safety. None of it needs to be punished. All of it needs to be seen. So tonight, let yourself be seen. Not by the world, but by your own quiet knowing. That part of you that watches without criticism, that listens without interruption. It has always been there, even when you forgot. Let this be the night you remember. Now, slowly return to the breath, in and out. Let your breath be the rhythm of surrender. Don't try to make anything happen. Just allow. The teachings say that suffering arises when we resist what is. But when we stop resisting, suffering begins to dissolve like ice melting in the warmth of presence. So, what if you stopped resisting now? What if just for these few moments you allowed everything to be as it is? You don't have to understand it all. You don't have to solve the whole of your life tonight. You just have to sit with what is here. Let go of the story. Come back to the breath. Feel your body resting. Gravity is holding you. The earth is supporting you. There is nothing you need to carry alone. Even your heaviest burdens, when held with kindness, begin to soften. You may notice a tension in your chest or a tightness in your throat. That's okay. These are not signs of failure. They are signals that you are alive and waking up. Place your hand gently over your heart. Feel its steady beat. Let it remind you that your life is still unfolding, that every moment is a new page. And you do not need to read ahead. You only need to be here, right now. The path of Zen is not one of becoming someone new. It is the path of returning to what has always been true. And what is true is this: you are enough even now, even with sorrow, even with doubt, even with questions that have no answers yet. You are enough. You do not have to prove your worth by being perfect. You do not have to earn peace by working harder. Peace is your nature. Like the stillness beneath the waves, it is always there waiting. So, dive into it now. Sink into the knowing that you are not broken. You are becoming. You are unfolding. And your unfolding is sacred. Each crack in your heart is a door to compassion. Each scar is a map to your strength. Do not cover them. Do not hide. These are the places where your soul breathes. Breathe into them now, gently, softly, in and out. Let yourself drift into the space between thoughts, that sacred silence where truth lives. That silence is not empty. It is full of presence, full of potential, full of peace. Rest there. You don't need to be anything tonight. You don't need to fix anything. You are already whole. Just rest in that truth. Imagine now that you are sitting beside a still lake. The moonlight dances across the surface. The wind is soft. The air is cool, and you are safe. You watch your reflection in the water, not to judge, but to remember. This is you. This is enough. Let the ripples fade. Let the stillness deepen. Let sleep approach like a gentle wave, not to take you away, but to bring you home. You have done enough for today. You have carried enough. You can let go now. You can soften. You can trust. Everything is unfolding exactly as it must. The pain is part of the path. The stillness is part of the healing. The night is your temple. And you are not alone in it. You are surrounded by the wisdom of those who came before you, who sat with their pain and let it soften into light. Be like them. Sit with it. Soften. Sleep. May the teachings settle in your heart. May your breath anchor you. May your soul remember that it is safe to feel, safe to rest, safe to begin again. Breathe, relax, let go. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are exactly where you need to be, and the path forward begins with this moment, this breath, this choice to stay open. So let the night carry you now, not away, but deeper into yourself. And know that all is well. Even this, even now. There is a part of you that has never been wounded, never been touched by sorrow or time or fear. A still, luminous presence beneath the shifting layers of thought, emotion, and memory. When grief moves through you like a cold wind, when regret burns in your chest, when longing tightens your throat, it is easy to forget that you are more than what you feel. You are not your sadness. You are not your past. You are not the voice that says, "I should have known better." You are the awareness that holds all of this, the witness, the open sky, beneath which clouds come and go. Tonight, I invite you to return to that space, not as an escape, but as a remembering that who you are is not defined by the things you've lost or the mistakes you've made. In the stillness of the night, you can begin again. You can begin by letting go of your armor, not by force, but by softening. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Let your hands loosen. Let your breath deepen. There's no need to protect yourself now. You're safe. You're here. And here is where the healing begins, not in trying to become someone else, but in daring to be fully present with who you already are. In Zen, we don't run from our pain. We bow to it. We acknowledge it. We breathe with it. And slowly, it becomes something else. Not a weight, but a doorway. Not a punishment, but a teacher. What is your grief trying to teach you? Perhaps it's showing you how deeply you've loved. Perhaps it's pointing you back to what matters most. Or maybe it's simply reminding you that your heart is still open, still feeling, still alive. Let that be enough for now. Let yourself cry if tears come. Let yourself sigh if your breath feels heavy. You don't have to fix anything tonight. You don't have to be strong. You only have to be honest with yourself, with your experience with this moment. And this moment, just like every other, is passing, impermanent, changing, alive, like a leaf drifting on water. Let yourself be carried. Don't resist. Don't grip. Just float. You are being held by something older than fear, by the quiet wisdom of the present. Stay with it. If the mind wanders, come back to the breath. If the heart clenches, breathe into it. If the body aches, soften around it. Everything you feel is part of your becoming. Nothing is wasted, not even your sorrow, especially not your sorrow. There's a story in Zen about a monk who dropped his teacup. The cup shattered, and the monk exclaimed, "Thank you for teaching me impermanence." He didn't try to gather the pieces. He didn't cry out in frustration. He simply bowed. Because he understood that life is not about holding things together, but about learning how to let them fall apart with grace. Maybe tonight is your moment of falling apart. Maybe tonight something inside you breaks open. Let it. Don't fear the breaking. What breaks reveals what's real. What breaks lets the light in. And beneath every ending is the possibility of a new beginning. So, what if this is your beginning? Not because everything is fixed, but because you're finally willing to stop pretending. Pretending to be okay. Pretending to have moved on. Pretending not to feel. What if tonight you gave yourself permission to feel it all? To sit in the ashes and not rush to rebuild. To grieve what was without needing to explain it. To love what still aches without trying to change it. This is the sacred work. This is the path. Not the path of becoming someone different, but of returning to what's true. And what's true is this: you have suffered, yes, but you have also survived. You have been broken, yes, but you are still breathing. And that breath, that single breath, is proof that life is still with you. That the story is not over. That healing is possible, not through force, not through forgetting, but through presence, through stillness, through choosing to stay with yourself, no matter how much it hurts. Let this night be your sanctuary. Let these words be a warm hand on your back. Let the darkness remind you that even now, something beautiful is unfolding. Maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe you won't see it for a long time. But like seeds beneath the soil, your healing is happening in silence. Trust that. You don't need answers. You don't need clarity. You need only this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. Everything else will come in time. And if it doesn't, you'll find a way to live without it. Because you are stronger than you know, softer than you've allowed, wiser than you remember. Let the moonlight wash over you now. Let it touch every part of you, the tired parts, the angry parts, the scared parts. Let it bathe your sorrow in silver. Let it whisper to you, you are not alone, because you aren't. Others have walked this path. Others have sat in silence with their grief. Others have cried into the dark and woken up to light. You are not the only one. You are never the only one. You are part of something vast and ancient and human. You are part of this great river of becoming. So, let yourself be carried, not rushed, not judged, just carried. Carried by breath, carried by stillness, carried by the quiet knowing that this too shall pass. And when it does, you'll be different. Not because the pain disappeared, but because you changed your relationship to it. You bowed to it. You softened with it. You let it be. And that is the beginning of peace. Not the peace of perfection, but the peace of presence. The peace that says, even now, I choose to be here. The peace that rises from surrender, from softness, from the courage to stop running. So rest now. Rest in the arms of this night. Let yourself be cradled by silence, by breath, by the gentle pulse of your own becoming. You are not lost. You are in transition. You are not broken. You are transforming. Let the old fall away. Let the new take root in silence. You don't need to know what comes next. You only need to be here, now, breathing, feeling, trusting. And little by little, the light will return not from outside you, but from within. The same light that has always been there, waiting for you to see it, waiting for you to remember. And now you do. So rest, soften, breathe. You are safe. You are loved. You are enough. You are not behind even if the world rushes past you. You are not too late even if your plans have unraveled. You are not less even if you feel forgotten. This moment, just as it is, holds everything you need to return to yourself, to rest in the quiet sanctuary of now. You don't need to catch up. You don't need to prove yourself. You only need to listen to the breath, to the heartbeat, to the still whisper beneath all noise that says you are already here. In the teachings of Zen, there is no place to get to, no future enlightenment to chase, no better version of you to become. There is only the truth unfolding in this exact breath. And when you stop trying to get somewhere, you arrive. You arrive in your body, in your senses, in the quiet miracle of being alive. The ache in your chest, the weariness behind your eyes, the questions you don't yet have answers for. They are not mistakes. They are not obstacles. They are gateways, invitations to soften, to pause, to return. Imagine now that each worry you carry is a stone. One by one, you set them down. Not because the problems are solved, but because you no longer choose to carry them tonight. Let the weight of expectation drop from your shoulders. Let the tension in your jaw melt. Let your thoughts drift like petals down a stream. You are not your responsibilities. You are not your regrets. You are the one who watches, who feels, who breathes. This witnessing presence within you has never changed. It is the same now as it was when you were a child staring at the sky before the burdens of adulthood took root. That clarity, that openness, it is still here. Covered, perhaps, but never gone. Zen teaches us that when the mind is quiet, the truth reveals itself, not through effort, but through release. So don't try to force stillness. Don't try to silence the thoughts. Instead, let them be. Let them rise and fall like waves while you rest in the deep ocean beneath. Even the most chaotic storm cannot reach the stillness at the sea's floor. That is your nature, still wide infinite. You've spent so much time trying to fix yourself, trying to become better, worthier. But the path of Zen is not self-improvement. It is self-returning. Returning to the center, returning to the breath, returning to the now. There is nothing wrong with you. There never was. The suffering you feel comes not from being broken, but from forgetting who you are. And who you are is not your pain, not your past, not your plans. Who you are is this awareness, this open, tender, curious presence that meets life moment by moment. When you stop resisting, you start remembering. That's what this night is for. A sacred pause in the noise. A space where you don't need to perform, achieve, or change. You only need to breathe. Breathe in and feel the coolness enter. Breathe out and feel the warmth release. Again and again, let the breath guide you back. Let it soothe the parts of you that are tired from pretending, tired from holding it all together, tired from trying to be everything for everyone. Tonight, you don't need to be anything but you. Fully, gently, unapologetically you. Let that be enough. Feel the bed beneath you, its quiet support, its unspoken safety. Let it hold your weight. You've held so much today. Let the earth hold you now. Let the body soften. Let the breath deepen. Let the thinking slow. Even if sleep doesn't come yet, even if the mind still stirs, you are healing. Healing doesn't happen only in silence. It happens in the returning, in choosing again and again to come back. The mind may wander. That's okay. Just notice. Gently, kindly bring it home. Like guiding a child back to safety, not with force, but with love. That's the secret. The path is paved not with discipline, but with compassion. Each time you drift and return, you are practicing love. Love for yourself. Love for the moment. Love for the practice. Zen reminds us that even distraction is part of the path. There is no mistake, no failure, only the rhythm of forgetting and remembering, drifting and returning, letting go and beginning again. In this rhythm, you heal, you grow, you awaken. Not by adding more, but by releasing. Releasing the story that you must be somewhere else. Releasing the belief that peace is far away. Releasing the idea that you must earn your rest. You don't. Rest is your birthright. Stillness is your nature. Silence is your teacher. So listen. Beneath the hum of thought, beneath the rustling of memory, there is a song. A quiet melody that has always been playing the song of your soul, your essence, your being. Can you hear it? Maybe not yet. Maybe only faintly. That's okay. Just keep listening. It's there. And the more you rest, the more you trust, the louder it becomes. Like the moon rising slowly behind clouds, your knowing emerges. Your clarity returns. Not as a flash, but as a glow. A softness, a warmth. And in that glow, the pain begins to shift. Not disappear, but shift. It loosens. It breathes. It no longer defines you. You begin to see that suffering is not the end. It is a doorway to presence, to depth, to compassion. What if your greatest wound became your greatest wisdom? What if your heartbreak became your gateway to love? Not the romantic love you were taught to seek, but a deeper love. A love that says even this is welcome. A love that holds joy and sorrow in the same breath. A love that never turns away. That is the love Zen invites you to remember. A love that begins within. A love that says yes to this breath, this body, this moment. no matter what it holds, even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain, even if it hurts. Yes, yes, yes. This is how healing begins, not in resistance, but in surrender. Not in trying to escape the night, but in learning to rest within it. So rest now. Not as an act of weakness, but as a radical act of love. Rest as a way of saying to yourself, you matter. Rest as a way of saying to your body, I hear you. Rest as a way of saying to your soul, welcome home. Let this night be your teacher. Let it wrap around you like a soft robe. Let it whisper ancient truths into your bones. You are not lost. You are becoming. You are not broken. You are blooming. And even if you can't see the garden yet, trust that your roots are deepening. Your soil is being enriched. Your soul is finding its rhythm again. So breathe. Just breathe. And let that be enough. There comes a moment in a human life when the noise outside fades into the distance, not because the world has grown quieter, but because something within you has begun to shift. That constant hum of expectations, of unfinished conversations, of memories, replaying like worn-out film reels, they all begin to dissolve when your spirit, finally exhausted, no longer has the strength to resist. In that moment, you don't need saving. You don't need someone to fix you. What you need is presence. A kind gaze, a hand resting gently on your shoulder. A voice that does not ask you to be stronger, but simply to be. Zen calls this space the threshold of mindfulness, the place where the heart begins to let go, not through effort, but through surrender. Tonight, you are walking into that threshold. You are not running from grief, nor are you trying to transform it into something noble. You are simply being with it, and that dear one is already healing. You are tired not just from the day, but from the years you've spent pretending to be okay. You have carried the burden of silence, of swallowed pain, of unspoken fears, all while wearing the face that the world needed you to show. But here, in the quiet of this night, you no longer have to pretend. No one is asking you to rise. No one is waiting for you to explain. You are safe to crumble, safe to soften, safe to be. Place your hand over your heart. Feel that steady pulse, not as proof that you must endure, but as a gentle reminder that life is still here, patiently waiting for you to come home. Breathe slowly. Let your exhale be longer than your inhale. Let it be a sigh of release of the stories you've told yourself, of the identities you've clung to, of the mistakes you thought defined you. Let the breath cradle you, like the tide cradles the shore, returning, retreating, returning again. In the Zen tradition, we do not aim to escape suffering, but to sit beside it with a tender gaze as one would sit beside a grieving friend. The lotus grows from mud, not despite it. So too does your peace grow, not from avoiding grief, but from holding it without shame. There was once a monk who wandered for years, asking the same question to every teacher he met. How can I overcome my sorrow? Some told him to meditate harder. Some told him to renounce the world, but none brought him peace. One day, exhausted and empty, he sat under a withered tree and cried not out of frustration, but from sheer surrender. A passing villager, seeing his tears, simply sat beside him, without saying a word. Hours passed in silence, and then something shifted, not in the world, but in him. He later said that it was the first time he had truly allowed sorrow to be present not as an enemy, but as a guest. That was the moment his healing began. You do not need to force this. Healing is not a war to be won, but a garden to be tended with patience. Every tear you have shed is water to that soil. Every quiet breath is a ray of sunlight. Every moment you choose presence over escape is the bloom of another petal. Do not ask how long this will take. Ask only how deeply you are willing to listen to your body, to your breath, to the small voice within you that you have long ignored, the voice that does not speak in logic, but in sensation. That voice is not broken. It is not confused. It is your compass. So feel. Don't name it. Don't label your experience. Just feel. Let the ache in your chest be an invitation. Let the tightness in your throat be a bell of awakening. Let the trembling in your hands be a sacred dance. There is no wrong way to be with what is. The rain does not resist falling. The wind does not apologize for blowing. Why then should you resist your own experience? Let go of the story. Return to the sensation. If the tears come, let them. Let. If they do not, it is fine. Your process is your own. Remember, the moon does not force the tide. It simply shows up night after night, and the ocean responds in its own time. You are not alone in this. All beings carry grief in their own way. Even the trees grieve in autumn, letting go of leaves that once drank sunlight. Even the sky grieves when it darkens with clouds. And yet in that grieving, they do not lose their beauty. Nor will you. You are still beautiful, not despite your sorrow, but because of the way you hold it, softly, willingly, without shame. Let the breath guide you again. Inhale like you are receiving a gentle truth. Exhale like you are releasing the weight of trying to be someone you are not. If the mind wanders, gently return. If the heart aches, place your hand over it again. Whisper to it. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to be. No one ever told you this, perhaps, but it is time. Time to stop performing healing and start experiencing it. Time to stop chasing peace and start allowing it. Time to return to the home inside you, the one that has never judged your pain, only waited for you to come back. In the stillness of this night, you are not broken. You are blooming. Not in the way others may see, but in the way that the spirit heals quietly beneath the surface, like roots expanding beneath frozen ground. One day new life will rise from this, but for now, just rest. Let your breath soften. Let your body grow heavier. Let your thoughts drift like clouds. There is nothing to fix, nothing to solve. Only presence, only breath, only now. Just be. You are safe, you are loved, you are here. And that is enough. You have come far, not in miles, but in willingness. In the silent unfolding of each breath, you have stepped deeper into the stillness that holds your being. And now, here, in the gentle hush of this moment, You are no longer chasing answers. You are resting in the mystery itself. There is no need to define what you feel. There is no demand to articulate your healing. Zen is not a philosophy that insists you name your pain or categorize your joy. It invites you only to be with what arises, with the patience of the moonlight washing across still water. So now listen not to words, but to silence. Beneath the narratives your mind spins, beneath the stories you have inherited and repeated, there is something else: awareness. Pure, unfiltered, unbroken. The one who watches. The one who has never left. That watcher is not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your name or your history. It is the you beneath the you who simply knows, the one who was here before the ache began and who will remain after the storm has passed. This awareness is not a stranger. It has been holding you all along, through every sorrow, every joy, every sleepless night. And in Zen, we learn to bow to it not with words, but with presence. So bow now, not with your body, but with your being. Bow to the breath, to the stillness, to the sacred ordinariness of this moment. This is what freedom looks like. Not the absence of pain, but the absence of resistance. Like a leaf that falls without clinging to the branch. Like the river that flows without needing to know where it leads. You are that leaf. You are that river. And the current that carries you is trust. Not blind trust. Not forced belief. But the quiet confidence that what is unfolding is not against you. It is within you. Sometimes grief appears not to punish, but to strip away all that is false. To return you to the essence. And in that return, you find simplicity. The kind of simplicity that does not need decoration. The kind of peace that does not need noise. Let yourself dissolve into that. If tears come, let them be salt in the ocean, returning to where they belong. If breath deepens, let it guide you into the softest corners of your being. You are not escaping. You are arriving. Every sensation is a doorway. That tension in your shoulders, it is a gate. That fluttering in your chest, another gate. Walk through them, not with analysis, but with compassion. Say to each sensation, I see you. I do not fear you. I am willing to stay. This is the radical act of Zen, not to fix, but to face. Not to force, but to feel. Not to flee, but to flow. You have been running for a long time. Running from regret, from memory. From questions that had no answers. But now, your feet are tired, and that's okay. Let them rest. You do not need to run anymore. You have nothing to prove. No one to impress, no role to maintain. You are allowed to simply exist. As the pine tree exists, as the cloud exists, quietly, completely, without apology. There is a stillness in you older than pain, a quiet more ancient than your first wound. Rest in that. Let go of the timeline. Healing does not wear a watch. The seasons of the heart do not obey calendars. A flower blooms when it is ready, not when it is told. So trust that the pace of your becoming is not slow. It is sacred. Every inhale is an arrival. Every exhale is a release, and between the two, a space. Spacious enough to hold the entire sky. Spacious enough to cradle your grief and your grace in equal measure. You do not need to choose between sadness and serenity. In Zen, they sit beside each other like old friends. The monk smiles while tears still wet his cheeks. The mountain remains still even as the storm rolls in. So too can you. Do not mistake stillness for numbness. This is not detachment. This is deeper intimacy with what is. The kind of intimacy that holds without gripping. The kind that sees without judging. The kind that says, I will not abandon myself. You have abandoned yourself enough times already. Each time you silenced your truth. Each time you swallowed your sorrow to make others comfortable. Each time you nodded when your spirit wanted to scream. But no more. This space is yours. This breath is yours. This peace is yours, not given by the world, but remembered from within. You are not borrowing calm. You are uncovering it. It was never lost, just buried. Beneath the rubble of expectations, beneath the weight of shoulds and supposed tos. But now, with every breath, you are clearing that space. You are sweeping the temple floor. You are lighting the lantern. And in its glow, you begin to see not a stranger, but your own reflection softened, patient, true. Speak to yourself kindly. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time. The time it takes for a soul to soften is not measured in hours. It is measured in openness. And your openness now is vast. So vast it touches the stars. So vast it holds your past and your future in a single breath. Come home. Again and again. Not to a place, but to a presence. The presence that whispers, even this is okay. Even the ache. Even the uncertainty. Even the not knowing. You don't have to understand everything to rest. You don't have to resolve everything to heal. You only have to be here. Just here. With your breath. With your body. With this moment. You are the temple. You are the flame. You are the one you've been waiting for. The farther you walk on this path, the more you realize it was never about reaching a destination. It was always about remembering what never left. The softness in you, the wisdom in your bones, the quiet truth that hums beneath every breath. These are not new. They were simply veiled, waiting behind the noise, the striving, the stories. And now, as you sit in this stillness, with eyes half closed, or gently gazing into the dark, you begin to feel what Zen calls your original face, the one you had before the world named you, before success and failure carved lines into your mind. This face does not age, does not break, does not compete. It watches with the patience of mountains, listens like still water. It is the face of being untouched by doing. And in this awareness, you discover again that rest is not the absence of effort, but the return to presence. How much of your life has been spent chasing what already lives within you? Peace was not somewhere else. It was not waiting in a future moment, not hidden in a perfect plan or relationship or outcome. It was here under your ribs, behind your eyes, whispering in your breath, I am home. You forgot, not because you were foolish, but because you were human. All of us forget, and yet the remembering is simple. One breath in, one breath out, and you're back. Even now, as thoughts drift through like wind across tall grass, you can choose not to follow them. Let them pass. Let them go. No need to argue or analyze. Just observe. Just bow. Each thought is like a paper lantern carried on the wind. It glows for a moment and then disappears into the night. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to explain it. Just be the sky it moves through. Be the stillness that allows movement without resistance. In this space, grief softens, not because it is fixed or solved, but because it is held, like a crying child wrapped in warm arms. You learn not to silence the grief, but to breathe with it, to say, you can be here too. There is room for everything in you. Joy and sadness, clarity and confusion, strength and fragility. Zen makes no demand that you be one thing. It simply asks you to be real, to be fully what you are in this moment. If you are tired, be tired. If you are tender, be tender. You do not need to shine all the time. Even the moon has phases. Even the stars disappear at dawn. Rest now in the gentle permission to not be extraordinary. You do not need to dazzle, impress, or perform. You only need to breathe and be. Like the flower that does not ask, am I blooming well enough? Like the tree that does not compare its height. You are enough in your being, in your unfolding, in your silent knowing. And when fear arises, as it sometimes does, you greet it like an old guest. You bow. You say, I see you. But you do not invite it to drive your life. You do not hand it the map. Instead, you let it sit in the back seat, quiet, observed, unthreatening. Fear loses its edge when it is not fed. And you grow more spacious, more luminous, like a lantern that glows not because it resists the dark, but because it holds a steady flame within. You are that flame. You are the witness to the flame, and you are the darkness that surrounds it all at once. There is no need to choose. Zen is not about choosing this or that. It is about embracing both. The breath and the pause. The rise and the fall. The light and the shadow. And in this embracing, something in you heals. Not because you tried, not because you figured it out, but because you stopped pushing. You surrendered. You allowed. And in that allowing, grace entered, slowly, silently, like morning mist rolling over hills. You may not even notice the shift, but it is happening right now. In the way your shoulders soften, in the way your thoughts grow quieter, in the way your heart once armored now feels warm again. That warmth is your medicine. That tenderness is your teacher. Let it teach you how to walk gently, how to speak softly, how to live without needing to dominate or defend. You don't need to be hard to be strong. You don't need to be loud to be heard. Even in your quiet, you are powerful. Even in your stillness, you are deeply alive. Breathe that in. Feel how your chest rises not in defense, but in receiving. You are not preparing for battle. You are opening to peace. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on conditions. the kind of peace that doesn't shatter when things don't go your way. This peace is resilient. It is rooted because it comes from within, from your center, from the deep, still well of your own being. You can draw from that well anytime. No one can take it from you. It is not earned, it is remembered, just as you are remembering now. So stay in this remembering, in this gentle space where effort is replaced by ease, where control is replaced by trust. Trust the rhythm of your breath. Trust the intelligence of your body. Trust the quiet guidance of your heart. It knows the way. Even when the mind protests, even when the world demands more, faster, louder, you can return here to this breath, this presence, this sacred stillness. It is yours. And from this stillness, you will know what to do. Or you will know that doing is not needed at all. Sometimes the most courageous act is to rest, to be, to love yourself as you are, not as you wish to be, not as others expect, but as you are. This is the core of Zen, to live fully in each moment without trying to escape, embellish, or explain. Just here, just now, just this. And that is enough. Let this moment wrap around you like a silk robe soaked in morning dew, gentle, cooling, quietly alive. You've come far in silence, and now the way ahead feels less like a path to follow and more like a homecoming. Not to a place, not to a goal, but to the simple awareness of being. Every breath now feels like an echo of ancient wisdom. Every exhale, a letting go. Every inhale, a quiet reclaiming. You no longer seek escape from your sorrow. You cradle it with both hands. You no longer push away the ache. You welcome it like an old friend who has traveled long to see you. This too belongs. Zen does not divide you into acceptable and unacceptable parts. There is no casting out, no fixing, no spiritual bypass. Instead, it asks, can you stay with what is? Can you soften into the discomfort without recoiling? Can you listen even when the sound is raw and unfamiliar? Grief is a sacred sound. It is the temple bell of loss that rings through your whole being, reverberating even in your bones. And yet even grief has rhythm. Even pain has pauses. And in those pauses, stillness breathes. A different kind of silence enters, one that does not demand understanding, but only presence. Sit with that silence. Let it speak to you in a language older than words. It says, you are not broken. It says, this pain is not your enemy. It says, the wound is also the doorway, and as strange as it sounds, something in you nods, because you've known this all along, not in your intellect, but in your marrow. The place beyond logic, where the truths that truly sustain us reside. Here, beneath the grief, beneath the questions, beneath even hope, there is only awareness. This awareness does not flinch. It does not argue. It simply is, like the sky holding clouds without clinging to any of them. Like the mountain, unmoved by the changing seasons. Like water that takes the shape of whatever it touches, yet always remains itself. You are learning to be like that fluid, yet rooted, spacious, yet whole. You are becoming less reactive, more responsive, less driven by shoulds, more guided by the inner whisper that says, wait, listen, feel. You are learning that doing less allows more truth to rise. That silence is not empty. It is full of everything you were too busy to notice. And in that, noticing, you rediscover the sacredness of now. You see the candle flame flicker and it becomes a teaching. You hear your own heartbeat and it becomes a mantra. Even the ache in your chest is no longer something to fight. It is something to understand, to honor. Because that ache was never the enemy. It was always the signal. A signal that something mattered. That you cared. That you loved. Pain is the echo of love that has nowhere to land. And so you sit with it, not to fix it, but to witness it. In your witnessing, it finds rest. It finds breath. It finds space. And that space becomes healing. Not the dramatic kind, not the fireworks kind, but the slow, earthy kind that roots itself deep into your being. The kind that changes the shape of your inner landscape without you even realizing it. One day, you look back and notice that the storm you thought would break you only washed the dust from your soul. One day, you realize that your tears watered the seeds of your own awakening, that your grief softened the soil for something sacred to grow. And it did grow. It is growing still, even now. With every inhale you draw in life, with every exhale, you release what no longer serves. You are becoming intimate with the breath, not as a tool, but as a companion, a guide, a gatekeeper to presence. You no longer breathe to survive, you breathe to arrive. Each breath is a gentle bow to the present. Each moment is a bead on the mala of your existence strung together by awareness. And in this awareness, something astonishing happens. You stop rushing. You stop chasing. You no longer measure your worth by productivity. You no longer pace your value against the speed of others. You begin to trust your own rhythm. And that rhythm is slow. It is sacred. It is sovereign. Even in a world that screams for speed, your soul knows the value of stillness. So you rest not because you are weak, but because you are wise. You sleep not to escape the world, but to return to it more whole. You dream not to forget, but to remember the parts of you that daylight forgot. In this sacred rhythm, sleep becomes a form of prayer. Rest becomes a form of devotion. And grief, once a shadow you avoided, becomes a teacher who speaks in silence. You no longer resist it. You sit beside it. You say, "Teach me." And it does. It teaches you about surrender, about letting go, about the strange strength that rises only after everything else has fallen away. It teaches you that wholeness does not mean having it all together. It means being together with all that you have, even the broken pieces, especially the broken pieces. Because it is there in the fractures that the light gets in. And not just any light, the light of your own being remembered, not discovered. You are not a problem to solve. You are a mystery to experience. A poem to be read slowly, line by line over a lifetime. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to awaken. Even in your sorrow, even in your stillness, even in your silence, especially in your silence. So rest here. Let the silence hold you. Let the breath guide you. Let the wisdom of grief open the gates to grace. There is nothing else you need right now. Not answers, not fixes. Just this moment, this breath, this quiet knowing that all is unfolding, that you are not alone, that you are deeply, wholly, irrevocably home. You are here now, and that is enough. You are not a project, not a task to be completed, not a problem in need of solving. You are a presence to be lived, a song to be sung in the quiet space between thoughts. In this moment, you are not the roles you play, not the expectations you carry, not even the emotions that sweep through you like waves on a restless shore. You are simply awareness, witnessing all things come and go. Like leaves drifting on a stream, each thought, each feeling floats by and disappears into the vastness of now. And as you sit in this awareness, the burden of needing to do falls away. You are invited into stillness, and within that stillness, a new kind of strength begins to grow, one not built on control or certainty, but on trust. Trust that this breath is enough. Trust that you don't need to hold everything together. Trust that life is unfolding through you in its own mysterious way. You have tried to be perfect, haven't you? Tried to carry others' pain, fix every broken thing, silence your doubts, and outrun your grief. You have tried to protect your heart by hardening it, to avoid disappointment by shrinking your dreams. But none of that has brought peace. Peace is not born from control. It comes from release, from softening, from surrender. So now, in this breath, I invite you to let go. Not forever, just now. Let go of the stories you've told yourself. Let go of needing to be understood. Let go of trying to explain your pain to those who never listened. Just be here. Just feel. Let the ache be an ache. Let the longing be a longing. Let the silence be full instead of empty. You don't need to rush toward healing. It is already happening slowly, quietly beneath your awareness, like seeds growing in the dark, like stars forming in the silent folds of space. The most important transformations are rarely loud. They are subtle like breath, like dew forming at dawn, like your heart learning to beat again after breaking, and your heart is beating even now. Listen. Beneath the stories, beneath the fear, beneath the grief, there is a rhythm, a pulse, a remembering. It says, you are still here. It says, there is more life for you. It says, don't close, because you have closed, haven't you? When the pain was too much, when the betrayal burned, when the loneliness felt too wide, you closed like a flower at night. You closed to survive, and that too was wisdom. There is no shame in protecting your softest parts, but now the light is returning, and something in you longs to open again, not all at once, not with force, but gently, like petals waking at sunrise. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to be new, even if you are still healing. You are allowed to feel joy, even when your eyes still carry the memory of tears. You are allowed to want more, even if you once settled for less. Begin where you are. Begin with this breath. Let it guide you, not as a tool, but as a teacher. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. This is the rhythm of presence, of peace, of homecoming. Your breath does not lie. It does not rush. It does not judge. It simply moves, always toward life, always toward now. And so can you. You do not need to be ready. You only need to be willing. Willing to meet yourself here. Willing to drop the mask. Willing to be seen by your own soul. That kind of seeing is the beginning of freedom. And you have always longed to be free, not from responsibility, not from pain, but from the war inside you. The war between who you are and who you think you should be. The war between what you feel and what you allow yourself to express. You have carried this war for so long, haven't you? But what if you stopped fighting? What if you laid down your weapons, your judgments, your comparisons, your self-punishment, and simply rested, not as a reward, but as a right? Rest is your birthright. Peace is your inheritance. You do not need to earn stillness. It is already yours. And when you rest in it, truly rest, something inside you will soften. The armor will crack, and in that crack, the light will enter. Not the blinding light of enlightenment, but the gentle light of kindness, of self-compassion, of remembering that you are not broken, that your grief is not a flaw, that your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a doorway, a portal to deeper presence, to a truth that cannot be found in books or philosophies, but only in your lived experience. You are not here to become someone else. You are here to become fully yourself. And that self is already worthy, already whole, even if you can't feel it yet, especially then. So let the breath remind you. Let the silence hold you. Let the grief teach you. And let your heart open just a little, not because you should, but because it longs to. And as it opens, you will notice something strange and beautiful. Nothing needs to change for you to be at peace. Not the pain, not the past, not the uncertainty of the future. Peace is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of compassion in the midst of it. You can be sad and still be whole. You can feel lost and still be on the path. You can be healing and still be holy. So stop waiting for perfect. Stop postponing peace. It is already here, whispering in the spaces between your thoughts, waiting in the pause between your breaths, blooming like a flower in the center of your being. This is your sanctuary. This moment, this breath, this simple act of being. You don't have to earn it. You only have to receive it. So breathe, rest, let go. And when you are ready, open your eyes into a different world, but to this one seen with new clarity. A world where you are not behind. A world where your grief is honored. A world where your breath is enough. A world where healing is already happening. In the quiet, in the stillness, in you. There is a river that runs through your life, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy, but always moving, always flowing. This river carries your memories, your joys, your losses, and all the unnamed sorrows that have shaped your heart. You stand on its banks so often, trying to stop the current, trying to scoop up what has passed or anticipate what is to come. But the river does not wait. It does not turn back. It simply flows. And in its flow is the truth you've been seeking, not in control, but in surrender. You see, so much of your suffering comes from trying to hold on, doesn't it? Holding on to who you used to be, holding on to people who've gone, holding on to ideas of what should have been. But life is not meant to be held like a possession. It is meant to be lived moment by moment, like the river that dances through mountains and valleys without regret. Let yourself be that river tonight. Let yourself move with what is. Even grief can become a current, not a weight to drown you, but a path to carry you back to yourself. There is no shame in feeling pain. There is no weakness in crying for what was lost. Your tears are part of the river too. They shimmer with truth. They reflect your love. They purify what words cannot touch. And if you listen deeply, your tears will whisper, "You loved, you tried, you cared." That is no small thing. That is sacred. So let your heart break, if it must. Let it open like a sky after the storm. Pain only hardens us when we resist it. But when we meet it with breath, with gentleness, it becomes the very gate through which healing walks in. This is what the old Zen teachers meant when they spoke of impermanence, not as a threat, but as a mercy. Because nothing lasts, even your suffering cannot stay. Every night passes into morning. Every winter gives way to spring. Every wound tended with care will one day stop bleeding. And though the scar may remain, it too becomes part of your story, part of the beauty you carry. Do not run from your scars. Touch them. Listen to what they say. They do not scream, they whisper, "You made it through." And you have. You are still here, with a heart that still beats, with a soul that still seeks light. Even in the darkness, you are growing. Even in the silence, life is stirring within you. You may not feel it yet, but trust the process. Trust that the stillness is doing something, that the quiet spaces are not empty but full of unseen grace. When you sit in silence, when you lie still in the night, it is not stagnation, it is gestation. Something sacred is taking form inside you, a new understanding, a gentler way of living, a quieter strength. You don't need to push for it. You don't need to figure it out. You only need to stay present, to breathe, to listen, and to trust that this river knows the way. You don't have to know where you're going to keep moving forward. You don't have to understand why it hurt to be able to heal. Let go of needing answers. Let go of trying to explain your sorrow. Some things can't be explained. They can only be honored, and grief, when honored, becomes a teacher. It shows you where you love deeply. It shows you what truly matters. It strips away what is false and leaves only what is real. This is the gift hidden in pain. It clarifies, it reveals, and in its wake, you are reborn not into someone else, but into someone more fully you. Do you feel that pull, inside like a tide turning? That is your soul remembering its own rhythm. That is your spirit reclaiming its place. You don't have to be loud about it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Healing is not a performance. It is a quiet becoming. It is the soft unfolding of your true self. And your true self is not broken. Not too much, not too late. Your true self has always been here, waiting beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the roles you've played. So peel back the layers tonight. Not all at once. Just a little. Like mist lifting from a mountain. Let your breath guide you. Let the softness return. There is nothing you need to fix right now, nothing you need to chase. Just be here in this breath, in this body, in this moment. You are enough. Not because you've done everything right, but because you exist. Your very being is a miracle. Your breath is a testament to survival. Your presence is a gift to the world. Even when you feel small, even when the world feels too heavy, you are not alone. Others have walked this path. Others have wept these tears. You are part of something vast and timeless, a human family, a spiritual journey, a sacred unfolding. And in that, there is comfort. In that, there is strength. You don't have to carry the whole weight. You only have to take the next breath. You only have to rest in this moment. The river will do the rest. It will carry you. It will cleanse you. It will return you to yourself. So let go now. Not because everything is okay, but because clinging won't change what is. Let go not to give up, but to give in to the truth of this moment, to the whisper of your own soul, to the love that has never left you. Feel your body soften. Feel your heart slow. Feel the earth holding you always. You are safe here. You are home. And in this home, there is nothing to prove, nothing to earn. Only breath, only stillness, only love. Let that be enough tonight. Let that be your refuge. And as you sink deeper into rest, remember you are the river and the stone. You are the storm and the calm. You are the question and the answer. You are life itself, changing, flowing, returning, always returning, home. There is a moment just before sleep takes you where everything feels suspended. No longer quite in the waking world, not yet in the dream. In this liminal space, your thoughts loosen their grip, your body surrenders its tension, and what remains is simply presence. That is where I invite you to rest now, right here, where nothing must be done and no one must be pleased. You are not behind on anything. You are not late to some imaginary finish line. You are enough, as you are soft, tired, and beautifully human. In this space, no masks are needed. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to be cheerful. You are allowed to just be. And isn't that what you've been yearning for? A place where you can stop performing. A place where your heart can exhale. The world asks so much of you. Be productive. Be cheerful. Be resilient. But your soul does not speak in commands. Your soul whispers. It speaks in silence. In the hush between one breath and the next. In the pause where you allow yourself to feel without explanation. So, take this moment to listen. Not to the voice of your inner critic, but to the deeper voice beneath that. the one that says, I see you. You've done your best. You can rest now. That voice is always there, though it is often drowned out by noise. It is the voice of your knowing nature, your Buddha nature, the calm that has always existed beneath the waves. You may not have felt it in a while, but that does not mean it left. Like the sun behind the clouds, your stillness has only been obscured, not destroyed. The work of this moment is not to achieve, but to return to the simple rhythm of the breath, to the sacredness of being alive. In Zen, there is a saying, sitting quietly doing nothing, spring comes and the grass grows by itself. This is the heart of it. You don't need to push growth. You don't need to force healing. It will come. It is already happening in ways you cannot see in layers beneath the surface. Just as the roots deepen in winter, your spirit is gathering strength even in the quiet. Especially in the quiet. Rest is not a break from healing, it is part of healing. You are allowed to retreat. You are allowed to curl inward like a leaf in autumn. This too is wisdom. This too is sacred. Let go of the pressure to constantly transform. Let go of the timeline that says you must be better by now. There is no rush in awakening. There is only presence. And the more you lean into presence, the more you will find what you thought was lost, your peace, your clarity, your trust in life. Don't worry if your mind still chatters. That is what minds do. But you are not your thoughts. You are the space in which thoughts arise and fall. You are the sky, not the passing clouds. Let them drift. Let them move without chasing or resisting. Greet each thought like a bird flying overhead, noticed, appreciated, and released. You don't need to fix your mind tonight. You only need to rest with it gently, with kindness, with curiosity. Even your anxiety is trying to help you in its own confused way. Even your fear wants to keep you safe. You don't need to battle yourself. You only need to embrace every part of you. All of it belongs. All of it is welcome. In the great mirror of Zen, nothing is rejected. Everything becomes part of the reflection. So reflect now, not with judgment, but with compassion. The person you are is enough. The story you carry is valid. The pain you've survived is meaningful. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly right for this moment, this breath, this healing. So breathe. Let your breath be your anchor. Let it tether you gently to now. Inhale and feel your chest rise like a wave. Exhale and feel it fall. Inhale, receiving. Exhale, releasing. Each breath is a doorway back to your center. Each breath is a reminder you are alive. You are here. And being here is enough. Even if you did nothing else today, you breathed. You existed. You. That is worthy. That is sacred. You don't need to prove your worth. It is intrinsic. You were born with it. And no mistake, no failure, no loss can take it away. Let yourself feel that truth now, not just with your mind, but with your whole body. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your belly soften. Let the weight slip from your limbs like melting snow. You are not meant to carry everything. You are allowed to set it down. You are allowed to rest. This is the invitation Zen offers you, not a rule book, but a whisper. Come back, come home, come be. And as you drift deeper into the stillness of sleep, know that you are not alone. There is a vast silence that holds you. There is a great compassion that surrounds you. Call it Zen. Call it Buddha nature. Call it the deep knowing of your own heart. Whatever name you give it, it is here. It is real. And it does not require you to be perfect. It only asks that you be present. Even if you fall asleep now, this presence will remain. It does not disappear when you sleep. In fact, it blooms more fully when you let go. So, let go. Let go of the day. Let go of the striving. Let go of the story. Just for now. Just for tonight. Let yourself return to the peace that has always waited beneath the surface. You are safe. You are held. You are loved. You have come so far on this journey, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. Even in silence you have moved. Even when still your spirit has unfolded like a lotus blooming under moonlight. In this space where the world has softened its demands and your thoughts grow quieter, you begin to notice the subtleties, the flicker of breath, the slow release of tension, the quiet warmth spreading through your chest. This too is a form of awakening. Not loud, not dramatic, but gentle like snow falling without sound. Here you are, learning the art of being. Not doing, not fixing, not achieving, just being. And in that state of being, something sacred stirs. Can you feel it? That small pulse of peace that rises when you stop trying. That quiet echo of your true self. You don't need to chase it. It is not far. It is not hidden. It has always been here beneath the layers of thought, beneath the stories you've been told. The Zen masters knew this. That's why they taught with riddles and silence, not to confuse you, but to point beyond words. They knew that the truth cannot always be spoken. It must be experienced, felt, breathed into. Right now, you are breathing into it. Each inhale carries you deeper into your center. Each exhale lets you rest there. No effort is needed. You are not meditating to become someone else. You are returning to who you've always been. The one who existed before the name, before the identity, before the wound. The one who is not afraid of stillness, who does not need to escape discomfort, who knows that even grief has wisdom, even sorrow has a place. In this part of the journey, I invite you to allow everything, even what hurts, especially what hurts. Let it sit beside you without shame. Let it speak if it needs to. Do not silence your wounds. They have stories to tell. They are the maps of your soul's growth. And when you listen, really listen, you begin to realize that even your pain is not separate. It too is part of the path. You are not off course. You are not broken. You are on the exact road your spirit needs to walk. Perhaps that road is steep. Perhaps it winds in ways you didn't expect. But it is still your road, and every step is meaningful. Even the ones you wish you hadn't taken. Even the ones that brought you to your knees. In Zen, there is no such thing as wasted experience. Everything becomes part of the teaching. The wind through the trees, the ache in your chest, the moment you fell apart, all of it is allowed. All of it is sacred. You are not meant to float above life in a bubble of bliss. You are meant to meet life as it is raw, tender, breathtaking. And in meeting it fully, you awaken. Slowly, gently, but surely. Let this be your practice tonight, welcoming everything. Welcoming the comfort and the discomfort, the quiet and the noise, the clarity and the confusion. Nothing needs to be rejected. Nothing needs to be pushed away. You are large enough to hold it all. You are spacious like the sky. And just as the sky does not fight the storm, neither must you. Let the storm come. Let it rage if it must. You remain the sky, vast, unchanged, untouched. This is the beauty of your true nature. It cannot be stained. It cannot be shattered. Even when your life feels like it is in pieces, your essence remains whole. Let that truth settle into your bones. Let it soothe the parts of you that still feel unworthy. You do not have to earn your place in this world. You already belong. You belong to the breath, to the stars, to the unfolding of this moment. And when the world forgets to tell you this, let me remind you. You matter. You are enough. You are loved. These are not just comforting words. They are a recognition of your Buddha nature, the inherent goodness, wisdom, and light within you. Even if you doubt it, even if you don't feel it tonight, that nature remains, untouched by the world, unchanged by your mistakes. You can rest in that. You can breathe with that. You can sleep in the arms of that truth. Feel it now, like a warm blanket across your heart. Let it soften your chest, your shoulders, your spine. Let it slow your thoughts, your pulse, your fears. There is no need to hurry, nowhere to go, nothing to prove. This moment is enough. You are enough. As your body sinks deeper into rest, let your mind follow. Let it drift like a leaf on a stream. Let it wander without direction. And as it does, stay anchored in the breath. Soft inhale, gentle exhale. This is the rhythm of healing, the rhythm of return. You may feel memories arise. Let them. You may feel sadness surface. Let it. You are not here to resist. You are here to witness, to observe, to allow. That is the path of mindfulness, not control, but awareness. Not judgment, but compassion. If you forget and drift into thought, that is okay. Simply notice and return again and again with kindness, with love. That is how you train the heart to be present, not through force, but through gentleness, through the quiet repetition of come back to the breath, come back to the body, come back to now. Each time you do, you are growing something inside you, a calm that is not shaken by storms, a clarity that is not dimmed by doubt. This is your gift. This is your power. And the more you rest here, the more it grows. Tonight, let it grow without effort. Let your body do what it knows how to do. Heal, rest, renew. Let your spirit do what it longs to do. Remember itself. Remember peace. Remember presence. And as you fall deeper into sleep, know this, you are not alone. You are being carried by something greater, something ancient and wise, something that holds all things in compassion. Call it Zen. Call it the way. Call it the great silence. It doesn't matter what name you give it. What matters is that it is here, and it is holding you now, in this quiet space where your breath softens and your thoughts begin to lose their grip. You are invited once more to return, not to a place on a map, not to a person or a plan, but to your own presence, the pure awareness that sits beneath the ripples of your mind. This presence does not ask questions, does not demand answers, does not need permission to exist. It simply is. You have touched it before fleetingly, perhaps in those moments between waking and sleep, or when time stood still as you gazed at a falling leaf or listened to the rain. Now, as your body settles further into rest, let your awareness fall gently into that same stillness, like a feather descending into a calm lake. No resistance, no urgency, just the soft surrender into being. You are no longer pushing against the world or trying to shape it with your thoughts. You are watching. You are listening. You are being. This is the teaching that the ancient ones whispered, not in scrolls or speeches, but in the space between their words, in the long silences that came after their stories. Those silences were not empty. They were full of knowing. Tonight, allow that knowing to rise in you, not through effort, but through permission. Give yourself permission to stop clinging to what could have been, to stop rewriting the past in your mind. Let it be. Let what happened remain part of the river behind you. You are not the river. You are the one who watches it flow. And just like a river, your grief, your longing, your regret, they all move, they shift, they change. And even though they return, they never return in quite the same form. This is impermanence. This is freedom. Do not fear the changing nature of your emotions. Do not fear the tide of sorrow that comes and goes. It is not a failure to feel. It is not a weakness to weep. It is human. It is sacred. You are allowed to feel everything and still be whole. You are allowed to be both broken and beautiful. In fact, it is often through the cracks that the light enters, slowly, gently illuminating the corners of your inner world. Right now, that light is reaching you. It does not need you to be perfect. It only needs you to be open, to say yes to this breath, to this heartbeat, to this moment. And if there are still shadows in you, memories that sting, or hopes that have turned to ash, don't hide them. Invite them closer. Let them sit at the fire of your awareness. Let them warm themselves there. They are not your enemies. They are parts of you longing to be seen, to be held. And when you hold them without judgment, you create the conditions for true healing. Not the healing that erases scars, but the kind that honors them. That says, yes, I lived this, and still I am here. In the teachings of Zen, there is no separation between pain and wisdom, no wall between sorrow and awakening. Everything is part of the unfolding. The beauty is not in what you avoid, but in what you allow. So tonight, allow. Let go of the tight grip you may still have on outcomes. Release the need to know how it all ends. That is not your task right now. Your only task is to breathe, to soften, to listen. Maybe you hear only silence. That is enough. Maybe you hear your heartbeat. That is enough. Maybe you hear tears pressing against your eyes. That too is enough. There is no wrong way to be here. There is no test to pass. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are precisely where the path has brought you. And this path, though quiet and inward, is still a journey. It winds through forests of memory, across mountains of meaning, through valleys of surrender. And always it leads back to now, to this breath, to this space. Let this be your temple tonight, not a place of stone, but a sanctuary of stillness built from presence, from breath, from the sacred rhythm of rest. Every part of you is welcome here. Your doubt, your hope, your fatigue, your light. No need to choose one over the other. No need to resolve the paradox. Just rest in it. Let it wash over you. Let it cradle you like water cradles a boat, holding without resistance, supporting without asking. And as your breath grows softer still, and your thoughts dissolve like mist at sunrise, feel the spaciousness inside you grow. That spaciousness is not emptiness. It is fullness, full of potential, full of grace, full of your own becoming. You are not the same as you were when this journey began. Something in you has shifted, gently, quietly, but undeniably. You have listened. You have stayed. You have allowed. That is more than enough. That is everything. As sleep comes, welcome it like an old friend. Not to escape, but to deepen, to descend into the dream time with trust, with gratitude. You are safe here. You are held. You are loved. Let that truth be the last whisper before sleep. Let it echo through your being. And when morning comes, may you carry it with you, not as a thought, but as a knowing. A soft, steady flame at the center of your chest. You are peace. You are presence. You are part of the great unfolding. And in this unfolding, there is nothing you lack. Now, as you come to the end of this long inward journey, feel how far you have come, not in distance, but in depth. You have wandered through the forests of sorrow, crossed the rivers of memory, and sat with the stones of your own pain without turning away. You did not need to fix anything. You did not need to understand everything. You only needed to stay with yourself, gently, honestly, as the soft truth of each moment revealed itself. That is the essence of the path. The Buddha once said that peace is not found in the absence of suffering, but in the way we relate to it. And so as you rest now, remember this: the pain you carry is not a mistake. It is part of the weaving of your being. When you stop resisting it, it softens. When you meet it with presence, it transforms. And when you bless it with your attention, it begins to speak. It speaks of longing, of love, of all the places inside you that are still tender and real. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not alone. These thoughts, these stories, these judgments, they are just clouds drifting across the vast sky of your awareness. You do not need to hold on. You do not need to push them away. Let them come. Let them go. Stay with the sky. Stay with the openness. That is where you will find rest, not in figuring everything out, but in allowing everything to be. Tonight, you have allowed yourself to be soft, to feel, to release. And that is no small thing. That is the beginning of wisdom, the beginning of freedom. As your body grows heavier and the world outside fades into silence, stay close to your breath. It is the doorway. It is the thread that connects the physical and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen. Inhale gently, and with that breath, gather everything that still clings. The tension, the fear, the striving, and then exhale. Let it go, again and again, until there is nothing left but this moment. And even this moment is spacious, quiet, whole. You may find now that you are not afraid, not because everything is solved, but because you are no longer running. You are here. You are enough. You are part of something vast and ancient, something that moves through stars and oceans and stillness, and also through your own small joys and quiet heartbreaks. You are part of it all. The monks of old used to sit for hours under trees, watching the leaves fall, listening to the sound of wind passing through the bamboo, not seeking anything, just being. In that stillness, the truth arose softly, like a moon reflected on still water. It is the same truth that now arises in you. You are not your story. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You are the witness, the awareness, the breath, the being. That is enough. That is home. So rest now, deeply, fully. Let your sleep be an offering, not an escape, but a surrender to what is. And in that surrender, may you be held. May you be healed. May you be whole.